Let's see. There we go.
My audio is included.
Sweet. Hey.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There he is.
What's
So
up?
we got the stream started already and everything. I already told Thor that you and him gonna have a debate power hour, or at least like a couple of minutes.
It won't be anything that special. Trust me. I think we'll squash this in a few minutes.
Oh boy. Oh wow. Okay. I don't know if that's cocky or if
I'll
that's,
keep you here.
Me either.
you know, just.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, we were both going to agree that Endgame is a good movie.
But what about the whole Thor
Okay.
thing?
Yeah.
What about Thor? Oh, I think people are overreacting to Thor's whole arc in this movie. I think it was it isn't complete. Thor's arc is most likely going to be like Thor's depression arc was started here, and I think it's going to be complete in the next Guardians of the Galaxy plus Thor combo movie.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I can understand that. I can understand that. As long as he's not a thick boy anymore, I think we'll be good. You know, that was really my main issue with him. Like, I understand why they did it, right? I understand why he was the way he was in Endgame, right? Like, I mean, he blamed himself for the death of literally half of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he was broken in the movie, and I get it. So like, yeah, I understand. I mean, I'm not happy with the fact that like Thor, the proud Thor, let himself get so broken, but I mean, I feel like anybody would respond that way, you know? I mean, because in the end, he is responsible for the death of half of everything. He should
Well-
have aimed for the head.
He feels himself responsible. Ultimately, Thanos is the real one responsible. But
Oh, right.
I think part of the reason why I'm not as angry as other people may be about Thor's fatness is that I was never a big fan of Thor, comics or movies. Thor the first movie was okay. Thor second movie was complete garbage. Thor Ragnarok
Oh, yeah.
was pretty lit. But that's
Oh, yeah,
because,
definitely.
like, Thor, they basically turned Thor completely different from the way he was in the first two. In the third, he's
Right.
like joking and lighthearted. He's no longer serious and like Shakespearean.
Right.
They had to completely
Yeah.
change his character for him to like be relatable to modern audiences.
Right. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think, yeah, the second movie was shit. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, okay, we're seeing, yeah. Yeah,
All right.
that's all I gotta say is yeah.
Wait, there is one more issue that I didn't have in
No power down. Get in there.
It was basically a fantasy movie with all the time traveling and stuff. I like Marvel movies. I like that part. I have nothing to complain about. But I don't like the fact that they basically killed off Infinity War Thanos in the first few minutes.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
was... Yeah,
Ultimately,
that was
at
a
the
little messed up.
end, it makes for a weaker.
A week of what?
They just killed a Thanos who had no connections.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Oh, I thought. Andrew gave me the impression that you thought the ending was. No.
No, I'm the one who's a
So
little
you-
more vitriolic. I'm the one who disagrees with this a lot more.
Thanos is. Right. Yeah, you did disagree with me on this.
Because, I mean, to summarize the argument that me and Darius had, I felt that if they just left him alive and they kept this lingering thread of like Thanos hovering over everyone, it would really like take away from the suspense of number one, the new Thanos. It would take away from the emotional baggage from the movie, because if they had more time focused on Thanos, it would have been less time focused on the characterization of the characters and their feelings towards the consequences of what happened from the last movie. And if they like left, I mean, if they focused like more on Thanos, that would have been the negative, because the one he already had his arc he won. You know, there was really no reason
Yeah.
to like really keep him there.
Never stop
And
fighting what you believe in.
I mean, say if you took like 30, 40 minutes to like kill him, and then like an hour later he shows back up, that would completely like take away like any tension from like the first stuff. It wouldn't mean anything. Not only that, but seeing Thanos like not the Galactic Emperor, the Conqueror, but as like a normal man, like staring at a sunset on his final days, that speaks a lot more to his character. It was like a nobler ending. But the thing I really like
I know, and I
disagree
wanted him to
with,
suffer so bad.
I agree, but my main thing is that what you're basically advocating for is like a repeat of Infinity War. Like we already had the characterization between Thanos and all the other characters. Like, I mean, the most that could have come from like leaving that Thanos alive is just people being like pissy towards them and like expounding upon emotions that we already know full well that they feel. You know, like things we already know. It would have been like redundant.
My brain agrees, but my
Yes.
heart disagrees. So
I mean,
you're saying metatextually. I don't know if that word applies to it, but I'm going to use it. I know ultimately the Infinity Endgame was about resolving it's about the event. Infinity War was about Thanos. Thanos had his move. This was about the act, a sin, or send-off. So I get that. The writing-wise, they had to account for the loss of the actors in making a good movie, a good last movie with
You're
them.
not getting rid of that.
But, you're right. Thanos did have his arc, but having it's just like at the end when Scarlet Witch does her thing and says, "You took everything from me." Like the exchanges, I don't know who you are, lady. And
Yeah.
I think that summarizes my problem with the whole shindig. Like it's just evil Thanos. They're fighting. And I guess,
Yeah.
he's ultimately a bigger threat than Infinity War Thanos. He wants to destroy everything now and just start over.
Yeah.
But I guess emotionally, I wanted to be a little more satisfied. But I understand what you're saying. You're right. You are right. What I'm asking for, I have no idea how it could have been fixed. I have no solution. But I did enjoy the movie. Endgame was good.
Endgame was great. And, you know, I can see where both of you are coming from both sides, you know. I agree with Six that, you know, killing him off in the beginning kind of made sense, and you know, because that Thanos had lived out his purpose. I mean, he had done what he wanted to do. So, like, that makes sense, but at the same time, I can see where you're coming from. Like, I mean, this wasn't the same Thanos we had seen. He didn't have the same amount of character development. I mean, granted, yes, it's still the same person, but their goals were kind of different at that point. I mean,
Yep.
you know, Thanos #2 had realized that he could do it, and that kind of defeats the entire purpose of Thanos's character arc.
And like
You
honestly,
know?
I would argue that the original Thanos probably was better because like killing, like destroying the whole universe. Yeah, I understand how you came to that conclusion, but it makes him a less sympathetic character because now it just seems like he's like a genocidal maniac, which isn't the case. He has his reasons for it, but that's how he comes across.
No, he's still a maniac in both.
I mean, yeah, he still wants to like. He's still. But yeah, that's technically true. Like, but what I'm saying is, he seems like a lot more sympathetic as someone who just wants to like destroy like half the universe. He's not.
I mean,
full-blown.
Right.
We saw him kill his own daughter, who he claimed he loved, and apparently that's true. And like we had there were redeeming qualities, not redeeming, but there were likable qualities about him in Infinity War. Of course, in the game,
Right.
it's just bad guy Thanos. He's a villain. We gotta kill him.
Yeah. How to put this? Yeah, I mean, Thanos #2, just he's not good. He's just not good. He's just not. Because I
Speaking
feel
of
like
Thanos
if they had
#2,
stayed with
You guys remember
ahead.
the sword that he had? There was a YouTube video of like basically a master, or yeah, like his sword is so fucking ridiculous. Like it could never be used in reality. It makes no sense. It can only be used in like a cartoon.
It's
a failure in
those
every shape, way,
Thorn
and form.
blades. It just looks so cool. You don't even care.
Yeah, you didn't even think of it, how he was spinning his sword while it was like nothing to spin. Like he was just twisting his arm. He was contorting himself to spin that sword. And ultimately it didn't even do that much damage.
You know what's really weird? What's that sword made of? It broke Cap's shield. Why?
Yeah, that was one thing that really got me. Like, how did that break Captain America of all people's shield? Like, that's Adam. Like, what?
Whoa,
That didn't make any sense.
Was that the same shield that? Yeah, I think it was. 'Cause,
Yeah, it was.
Iron Man
Because
gave
he gave it back. Yeah, that was his original shield. So I mean, I guess you could say that like maybe it had just taken a beating over the years or something because it was so old, and then like, you know, there was the big thing when Iron Man and Cap fought in Civil War. So maybe that like cracked the shield or something, but there's no real reason that his shield should have broken. They never explained that. You know?
My
I'm
excuse is
thinking-
that it's Thanos. And that's why
I mean,
why he was
yeah.
able to break it. Thanos
I
is a
am not
monster in the
necessarily
comics.
buying that excuse, but I think because it's vibranium, not antimanium, and I
Oh, right,
I'm sorry, but the one MCU movie that I've yet to watch in full before Endgame was Black Panther. I don't know if they explain anything about vibranium in there. Maybe at a good angle it can be cut or something.
I don't think
you
they
saw Black
did.
Panther.
I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
Black
yeah,
Panther,
I-
but I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
they explained anything about the vibranium. I mean, in that movie they made it like a god metal. I mean, they took adamantium to. I said adamantium again. Vibranium to like the next level. I mean, it powered like their entire country. But
Yeah, but that was that the Cap shield used old vibranium or whatever.
right. So like, I don't know. They didn't really go into depth with it at all.
Well, they did
I mean,
go
I
into
just wish
depth,
that
but
they
they
had,
didn't
like-
give the reason that we're like speculating on. Vibranium, if anything. Okay, here's the thing. Adamant. Okay, I think I have like a better way to describe this.
Never.
Adamantium is damn near indestructible. What the fucking Wolverine? Like, oh my god! Like, no matter
Yeah.
what you do to that fucker, I mean, you can crush him and like peel off his skin or whatever, but his bones, they pretty much don't shatter. They don't break. Now, vibranium is
Right.
close to that level, but you gotta understand, it doesn't give you defense against attacks. It absorbs attacks. So it makes sense
Yes.
that someone
Oh,
will be able
that's
to cut
true.
through it.
Yeah,
That
but
is
I
true. I,
guess
didn't think about that.
you know, years of comics and different situations of happening to that shield. Cap
Yeah.
fell from skies and landed on the shield. Hulk has punched that shield.
Thor broke the
I
shield.
just didn't expect Thanos like whacking his sword against it to break it. Like you don't expect that to be the shield breaker. Like Thor's hammer didn't touch that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They just it makes. I mean, you can say that it's like alien metal, which is stronger than vibranium, I guess, because vibranium is an alien metal. If I'm right.
Yeah,
it's
all from
Thanos
the
metal.
hero.
That's why.
Yeah. You got to fix right there.
Yeah. Okay, Thanos metal. Oh, I can. Oh, that's what I can.
Yeah.
See, one thing I wish they had done though is do like the comic book deaths of all the main heroes. Like I know why they didn't kill off the main heroes, just because that was the entire point of Infinity War Part 2. It was, you know, just to give the Avengers their last big movie. But I still really wish that they had done the original deaths from the comics. You know, like for example, I think it's Thanos ends up like freezing Thor and then just shatters him. You know, like, I mean, there was a bunch of stuff like that that I wish they had done, and I understand why they didn't, don't get me wrong, but I wish they had, because it would have been so much cooler, and it would have added so much more tension to see the new Avengers that they're leading up towards, you know, actually have to fight Thanos and take them on. But, I don't know, man.
to keep
I love
me
the
out of
movie. Don't get
fight.
me wrong, but I really wish they had kind of done some more of the original comic stuff. Just to,
Shit,
just to
I would
kinda,
expect-
you know.
I would have wanted them to do just an honest, as close as possible adaptation of the Infinity War comic. Have Lady Death
Yeah.
in there, have all this cool shit. It's weird. It's weird, and that's what makes it unique. You never see something like that anywhere else.
Right.
One real
I
good
was
thing
expecting Lady
about the
Death to show up
movie
in
is
this
that
movie,
they
but-
opened up the door for so many they opened up the door for so many possibilities, given the fact that they can go through like dimensions and timelines now, and supposedly it got altered a little bit, the timeline. So, I mean, there's so many. I mean, there, like all of us knows like the hundreds of stories that have to deal with alternate timelines, bro. One of the things
Right.
I'm really looking forward to that they open the doors to, because right now we're on uncharted territory. We've gone farther than any nerd back in like the 1990s ever thought would be on the big screen. Like we had all the big moments, like Thor versus the Hulk, the Avengers getting together, you know, the whole thing that happened with like the Civil War and Odin dying, all this and that and the other, and Hela being on the big
People
screen.
know who the Guardians of the Galaxy are.
Yeah, like
Right,
they actually know
exactly.
guys. Now what I'm hoping that they adapt is Secret Wars.
Yeah.
They-
Okay.
they already
let's
sorta
talk about
did.
Captain Marvel. Let's talk about Captain Marvel. I'm so
Yeah, I
pissed
saw
off
that.
at that movie. I'm so pissed off at that movie because okay, for one, you know, there's just the general like hatred for Captain Marvel. I understand it because Brie Larson, I feel personally, didn't do a great job as Captain Marvel. That's just me. I feel like she just like her character felt very, I don't know, emotionless in a sense.
Yeah, she didn't. She didn't emote at all. She had no
Right.
facial muscles.
And like, yeah, that was it wasn't great. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad they're doing Captain Marvel because she's an interesting character, and obviously they're going to be moving towards Secret Wars, or at least I hope so. I feel like that's what they're building up to in the second phase, with the new Avengers and stuff. I feel like Secret Wars is going to be their big opening, or their big baddie.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, kind of like how, you know, over time, like from the first Avengers movie, the real bad guy was always Thanos. I feel like that's what they're going to be phasing into with the new Avengers. Because,
And with big box,
right,
they can bring in the Super Scroll too.
right, exactly. And that's what I'm hoping they're doing. What they need, what I believe they need to do, is completely avoid doing, you know, the Fantastic Four's origin story and just throw them in there. Because everyone knows, you know, their origin story at this point in time. Because it's happened 5 different times with all their fucking movies. So what needs to happen now is Skrull need to come back as actual bad guys. And that was my big complaint with Captain Marvel. They turned the Skrull into good guys. Skrull have never been good guys.
Better get on the objective.
Yeah, it's really weird.
No, I'm sorry.
Although that might be setting up for the arc where, you know, they tried to be everyone's friends only to betray them. You know, that's kind of what they do.
Okay,
Right,
my turn,
and
my
that's-
turn, my turn.
Yeah, go for
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oh,
No, you're good.
I'll gonna let you finish. So, in comics, I never cared about Captain Marvel or original Captain Male Marvel guy. But there were a lot
Yeah.
of Captain Marvel that I didn't care about, so that's nothing special. The movie, I don't even think I wanted to see it, but my friend was interested in it. We were like, he was like, everything. I was like, okay, let's go see it. Saw it. Captain Marvel being emotionless, because she was. It wasn't that she was too emotional. Like, the whole deal was, Durs, you're too emotional. Control yourself. Keep your power in check. We were trying to get her to suppress her emotions and powers and stuff.
Right.
And the Skrull being good guys. So I always read up on information about movies and I'm jealous. And I saw this information from Kevin Feige that said that these Skrulls were factions, a small group of Skrulls who were, you know, not completely evil.
Okay.
And he implied that there were other Skrulls that could definitely serve as villains for the next phase. And I was thinking, I started saying, oh, when you brought that up, it's because, yeah, with Fox now, they could really have the Skrulls be the villain and have Captain Marvel. Because I've heard somewhere that Captain Marvel was going to replace Robert Downey Jr. as the face of Marvel, right? So Captain
Really?
Marvel could have, with her history with the Skrulls, the Skrulls could serve as really good personal goals for her.
That's interesting. Okay.
So are they actually gonna try?
Huh.
I can't
And,
imagine like actual character development with Captain Marvel, but if they can actually pull it off, like good, I mean, that would boost her
Oh, yeah,
character
that could
immensely.
definitely-
She'll actually be a character, you know.
Captain Marvel is like, she's very much like early Iron Man 1 Iron Man, where
She's vanilla.
they're both cocky and arrogant a little. So yeah, there's definitely room for Captain Marvel to grow, and for Brie Larson also get more experience as an actor. I don't think she started. I don't think when she started as Captain Marvel, the time she started as Captain Marvel and the time Robert Downey Jr. started Iron Man, I don't think they had as much acting experience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that. You know that. Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see. I mean, I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong. As much as I currently dislike Brie Larson, just for the way she portrayed Captain Marvel, there's always room for growth.
Not
you know,
only that,
and
but
I'm
like,
interested to see where she
backstage
goes.
drama with her. The thing that I really hate about her is her politics and how she what was the thing that happened? Like she tried to she said to like an interviewer or on Twitter is that we need more minorities in the show or something like that, or like we need more. No, she said we need more diversity, and so all the comments were just like, you know, yeah, we agree with you. Let's kick you out of the Avengers and replace you with a female Latino woman. So, and the thing I love about that is like again, like with all this, the thing I love about it is that the irony of like these people crying about diversity, like these like feminists who scream about diversity when they themselves like aren't doing anything to like help the situation. And not only that, but let's look at Marvel. Like, I mean, there's like every color in the rainbow in Marvel. They have Asians, black people, white people, like Portuguese people, like all people of every race. There's already a ton of diversity in Marvel. And let's not even get started on the actual comics themselves, which are a little too diverse with female Thor and whatnot, literally changing the genders of characters to push their worldview. And this isn't me like coming from like, you know, like women shouldn't be in comics, like like there shouldn't be women female superheroes. Who gives a shit? My thing is that they like legitimately change continuity around, which is one thing I legit fear in the upcoming Thor movies. I really hope they don't go the unworthy Thor like storyline, or at least if they do, they don't do it like it is in the comics, because my god, they like turn Thor into a broken man in those comics. Like he's obsessed over his hammer. He can't do anything without it. He seems to lack the courage that he once had. He seems like a completely different person, completely different character, and it's not like he's really growing through it. It seems like his mind state is getting worse. He's becoming more and more dependent on the hammer, which isn't good. Not only that, but the whole female Thor thing changed the continuity. Oh, like Thor was his real name. His real name was Odin. It makes no sense. Legit just changing continuity. Like complete bullshit.
So they already did Unworthy Thor in Endgame. Like, and
Yeah.
he got his pep talk from his mom, which actually kind of redeems Thor 2 a little. I might have to go back and watch that. That was a beautiful scene. Loved it.
It really was.
Comics and the whole female Thor thing and continuity. There's no point worrying about continuity in comics. Like, comics are going to continue being written, and writers want to do their own thing. And I appreciate creativity. So if you want to change things around, okay, fine. I don't care if it makes for a good story. What
Right.
was I thinking about diversity? Ultimately,
Yeah.
I have to be the odd man out here, but I think diversity is a good end goal.
But we already have
Whether
that.
that-
I'm not
whether that
arguing
be
against
original-
diversity. It's just that we already have so much of it.
I don't think so. Like, they're there, Asians, blacks, you know, all colors of the rainbow, like you said. But in the prominent roles, I don't think so. Not yet.
Well, if
Well,
you
you know,
argue
okay,
that
so
the
Captain
original
America's
Avengers-
finna be, you know, black. So
Maybe.
that'll be nice. Maybe.
Because
So-
Cap and Bucky were doing Bucky and Falcon were doing a miniseries on Disney streaming site.
Yeah. You know, also, okay, I just want to touch on this. Am I the only one that's unhappy with the fact that Falcon is the new Captain America? I mean, like,
Yes.
I get it, but I'm really unhappy with it.
The reason why I think I understand where you're coming from.
You want it to
because,
be-
the argument that could be made is that it was a little abrupt, Captain America like giving up his position. But I
Yeah.
think we all know the reason why. They was trying to make like a new Avengers. They're trying to create a new era, which is the reason
Oh
why
no,
they.
I get why it was time for Captain America to be phased out. I mean, the original Avengers they're broken up. They're not there anymore. It's time for them to phase into the new Avengers. So I understand why there's a new Captain America. But here's the thing. I feel like it should have been Bucky of all people. You know, I mean, if you look at the story, right? For one, Bucky is Cap's oldest friend. Now, you can make the argument that Falcon is more worthy, right?
Yes.
Because, you know, I mean, he hasn't done the same awful things that Bucky does. Bucky was the one that straight up was like, no, that's for you. You go do it. But, right, Bucky would just in every sense be a better Captain America. I mean, he's you know, a changed man or whatever. He's probably closer to the original Cap than anybody else would be. Falcon loses his wings now, unless he's going to keep them and have the shield, which would actually be kind of cool, not going to lie. That'd be kind of cool to see Captain America flying around. But, especially if he makes some eagle wings, I'm just saying. If he went from being the Falcon to being the eagle, that would be cool. Marvel, hire me. But, like, you know, I feel like it's not right. It's not within Falcon's character. You know? I don't know. That's just me, though. I'd love to hear y'all's opinion on it.
My
So,
thing is,
comics-wise-
yeah, I think me and Derek was about to say the exact same thing. Comics-wise, like Falcon actually did become Captain America, and he's done a good job with it.
Okay.
Where we're basically arguing is like who deserves it more, and I feel the main reason that I'm giving is that new Captain America has to fit in with the new Avengers, and you know that's not going to work with Bucky. He's pretty fucked
Right.
up, man. He's pretty fucked up with all his PTSD from being brainwashed and whatnot. He's not going to be able to like deal with joining a new team very well.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that.
So, comics-wise, both Bucky and Falcon have been Captain America. I'm pretty sure Bucky was first, because Bucky became Captain America, like, right after the awful Civil War comic where Steve Rogers died. Spoilers. Yeah, I agree with Andrew. At this point in the movie adaptation, Bucky has too much baggage on his hands. He probably would reject it because he feels he's unworthy. Falcon's probably the next best candidate, to be honest. I do hope that they somehow Disney works through magic and keep Chris Evans around to serve as a mentor, old Cap, to Falcon
that'd be
and
cool.
Bucky. That would be the perfect combo, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think if they keep Steve Rogers around as the mentor, because you know, originally, me and another buddy of mine were talking about this whenever we first heard that, you know, Captain America and Steve Rogers, Captain America and Steve Rogers, RDJ and Chris Evans were done. You know, we originally thought that, you know, of course, Iron Man's gonna make the ultimate sacrifice. But considering his character arc has always been, he's always trying to sacrifice himself to save others and it never works out, we figured it would be Captain America who dies, and Iron Man would be so distraught that he's done with the Avengers, but he hangs back as a mentor. You know, supplies them with everything they need, keeps all that stuff. So whenever Robert Downey Jr. died, I wasn't surprised, but I was like, oh wow, they're gonna go this route. So I think that, you know, somebody's gonna have to stay as a mentor for these guys. And if it's not Steve Rogers, well, I hate to say it, but nobody else is really fit to lead everybody. You know? I mean,
Well,
yeah, Captain Marvel. Yeah, I mean, Captain Marvel is like, you know, she's powerful and all that, but she's not.
No,
She's
guys.
not fit to be a
You
leader.
guys are both wrong. Because you know why? You know what would make this even better than having Steve or Robert Downey Jr. staying as the mentor? Awkward Bruce Banner.
Oh my God.
Teaching the Avengers
That's
how
pretty
to
cool.
fight. Oh
I'm
my
into it.
god.
Oh my
Comedy gold, dude. Comedy gold. There'd be nothing that can like top it. Because all it would just
God.
be is just like him trying to pretend like he's a badass, like living up to the notoriety he's gotten as the Hulk, but then failing spectacularly, like trying to throw a punch and either destroying equipment or hitting himself in the face. It'd be beautiful.
God, that would be great. You know,
that idea.
go for it.
That idea works on Snow because they basically crippled the Hulk in Endgame. He can't do any more solo movies with that arm. Two,
Right.
they basically kind of screwed up Hulk's arc anyway, because they resolved the whole Hulk and Bruce Banner issue off screen. So the
Yeah, what the
inventory is
fuck
about
was
the
that?
only useful thing they could do at this point.
Yeah, I think, you know, since Hank Pym has never really been an important character, I think that Hulk is going to take over as their tech guy, since, you know, Ant-Man is not really Ant-Man, and Robert Downey Jr. is dead. The only genius they have left is, well, it's Hulk, of all people. So I think he's going to have to take over as their super genius tech guy, and he's probably going to be
you
the
forget
one
Shuri, though.
Ooh, that's
Team up.
true.
And
Hulk and
Ant-Man.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do in this new phase. Because it can go a lot of different directions with the new Avengers. You know, we've got Spider-Man, who's always going to be the happy-go-lucky guy. Right? So he's going to be kind of taking over Robert Downey Jr.'s role, I feel like. You know? He's going to be the one that always self-sacrifices and always loses, because that's just Spider-Man.
Yep.
You've got T'Challa, Black Panther, who's probably going to be the more level-headed one, the tactician, if you will. Kind of like, I don't know, I see him being more of like a Black Widow, if that
Yeah.
makes sense,
I can understand
of
that,
the
yeah.
new Avengers. Captain Marvel, I don't really know where she fits in. Because she's got like the Sane power level of like
The
Thor and the Hulk. Right, so I'm kind of thinking she's going to take over Thor's role, but we need more character development on her end.
Yeah.
I can. I'm sorry, bro. I can imagine the big line next movie being, "I have an army. We have a Captain Marvel."
Oh, my
God.
god, that would be awful.
Oh, the cringe. That physically hurt me. Please no.
Let's see, who else? Hawkeye, I'm not really sure who they're going to take over with. Maybe Ant-Man or and the Wasp together.
Hawkeye. They're definitely setting up like the whole, you know, Man's daughter,
Never.
Hawkeye's daughter. They're definitely gonna take over the role.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about Hawkeye's daughter. Yeah, because she was being trained to use a bow at the beginning of Endgame.
So
Setting
that'll
those
be
like a
cool.
time skip.
Planning them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Then again,
Oh
now I
yeah,
think about it, no,
there's
it doesn't
gonna
have to
a
be.
time skip.
Actually, it doesn't, because this is the world of comics. How many kid superheroes are out there these days? I mean, the first thing you
Too
think
many.
of is Robin. Like, come on, that can work. And what was the other one? Speedy from DC, who's
Yeah.
also a kid.
Yeah, Kid
superhero?
Flash. Yeah.
No, there was another one.
I
There's
think
like a
it's
Speedy was the arrow person. Kid
Yeah.
Flash was the fast guy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's
yeah,
right.
Wally West.
You know, I think now Marvel is at a really weird point with these movies,
Very weird.
right? They can do so many different spin-offs that, you know, they can do anything they want now. I mean, they could do spin-off movies with the original Guardians of the Galaxy that they teased, you know, Yondu's team. They could do a movie about that. They can do, you know, a couple thousand other, you know, galactic movies at this point with how they've opened up the universe with Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel. They can do, new Avengers. They've got Spider-Man movies they can make. They're probably going to end up making a couple other Black Panther movies, just to expand on like the technology in the world now. We've got what is it? I think they're setting up for like the team of baddies, like the ultimate villain group. What are they called? No, not
I'm
Hydra.
just thinking
They're-
of
I think I'm thinking of the League of Villains
Cabal?
from DC.
Actually, no, there was a League of
talking about,
Villains in Marvel too. The only I can think of really is from the Avengers cartoon that was on Disney XD.
Yeah, they can bring Ultron back. There was some teasers or something leaked whenever Endgame was first dropped. That he's an Ultron. I think he is Ultron, but like 10 times more powerful. I forget his name. But I think he's green. I don't know, something like that. And they can do like original Ultron with that. You know how original Ultron shot like laser beams out of his mouth? I think it'd be cool if they did something like that. Obviously we've got the Skrull Wars they can do. They could probably bring in Galactus, Doctor Doom, that whole thing. I mean, there's so much that they can do now.
My thing
in
is,
terms of villains.
where's the interaction going to be with certain characters? That's what I want to know. I can see Black Panther kind of like mentoring Spider-Man a little bit, but again, there's not many interactions I can see, especially with Captain America. I mean, Captain Marvel. Honestly, I see Captain Marvel being at odds with like nearly the entire team, because basically her personality is just to be a snarky cunt, to be honest. She really offers nothing in terms of a dynamic or any like comedy, like that we had with the original Avengers.
Oh no! I thought.
Go ahead.
Just to a quick aside, I thought Captain Marvel was hilarious. Not because of Captain Marvel herself, but the young Nick Fury and Talos were the highlights of the movie for me. All right, go ahead.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that they're going to be doing some team-up movies here in the future, because all of the new Avengers are so different. They're going to have to be using these characters together in tandem. We may see, for example, I think we're going into the second Spider-Man movie right now.
Yep.
In the third Spider-Man movie, we might see him team up with Captain Marvel. We might see him team up with T'Challa. There's stuff like that, where like two or three of the new Avengers are going to team up, and that's going to lead up to the new Avengers movie. So everyone's going to kind of know who each other is, and have a better sense of character with each of them, and that way they'll kind of work together a little bit better. But if they just outright did an Avengers movie where Nick Fury was like, hey, the world's ending, come on guys, we need your help. If they just jump into it like that, we're not going to see really any good character play. Like, they're not going to be able to bounce off of each other. Just like you said, Six. There's no, like, they don't mix the way that the original Avengers did.
Their personalities are like complete opposites of anything.
I don't know what you're saying is true, because we haven't had that opportunity for them to just get together in a room and
Old
talk.
soldiers are hard
Right.
to kill.
About Far From Home, I don't know if you saw the trailer at the end of Endgame, but that like I don't think any of the characters are going to show up in there besides Shield and alternate universe Mysterio, who's already teaming up with Spider-Man, right? So I think Spider-Man's going to be pretty much self-contained. I can't wait to watch it. I'm sure it's going to be good. But I do like your idea of team-ups. They're going to need like, the new characters we have. Like Endgame was Marvel's high, and there remains the question of, are people still going to come out to watch these movies in droves now that Thanos is done for?
Right. I mean, that was their ultimate team up. Like, I feel like every character definitely met at some point, whether it was brief or not. But I mean, there's like, that's all there is to it. They don't know each other, other than like, hey, we all ran through a portal and kicked ass. That's all we did. I mean, we had that brief interaction with Captain Marvel and Spider-Man, so they have a general sense of who each other is. So, we may see something like that. More of that in the future, just something like small little snippets where they meet up. Because that's the only way. yeah, I mean that's the only way I can really think that these characters get to know each other. Because
You know, one thing that I
You know, it's
imagine,
been-
I imagine for instance, there's a scene in the comics where, I mean, I'm not going to explain the whole plot. Long story short, Thor was fighting his grandfather, and what he did is like he just
Whoa,
randomly,
who's his grandfather?
Bor. Loki resurrected, resurrected Odin's father, and like had Thor fight Bor so that when he defeated Bor, he would be banished from Asgard because you know Asgard can't like fight or kill like the royalty of Asgard, even if you are the royalty of Asgard.
Okay.
And so what happened during that fight, you know, of course Thor got his ass handed to him because it's Bor, like one of the strongest Asgardians ever. What happened is that in the middle of the fight between him and Bor and him, I think there was another faction there as well, but mostly Thor was just fighting his grandfather, which he didn't know it was his grandfather at the time. He called in the Avengers, and they all like rushed into action to like help defeat Bor. Although you know it wasn't the actual Avengers, it was the evil Avengers. But that you get what I'm saying. Basically, I see it as that when things get like a little too difficult, like it's going to be like a running theme, like everyone in the theater is just going to be waiting for someone to shout out Avengers assemble, and just to see Captain Marvel and everyone else just fly into the scene like immediately, just like that. You know, that's what everyone's going to be waiting for. That could be a cool gimmick that they introduce into the movies.
that'd be interesting.
I don't know if that's feasible because we have to take actor contracts into consideration. They have to sign to be in part of a movie, right? So unless whoever is unless I don't know who oversees these movies, Kevin Feige, I guess, unless someone plans for that, it's probably not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean,
Because they
I could
have
see
to
it being
pay
like,
them.
right. I could see it being like, you know, we're gonna see some build up to some big villain. I mean, it has to happen.
Yeah.
That's their current formula, and unless they somehow break that formula, which I really don't think they're gonna do, because I mean, like, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think we're gonna start off with the Spider-Man movie. This is gonna be the first phase of the new Avengers. So we're gonna get this Spider-Man movie, and it's gonna set the scene for a couple other Spider-Man villains. And so, you know, this one is Mysterio. We're gonna see Mysterio, and right now he's seen as a good guy. And the majority of the people that watch these movies aren't, you know, comic book conscious. You know, I feel like because they're so mainstream nowadays. So most people are gonna see Mysterio as a good guy. I think we're gonna see that he's working for somebody, and it's gonna be somebody small. But then in the next big movie, that person that's small that Mysterio's working for might be the villain of, let's say, I don't know, the next Captain Marvel movie is the villain of that. And we're going to see this big build up to where all these villains are working together, and it's going to build up to this big, like, battle. You know, just something
like
where there's like
evil Avengers is basically what you're saying.
Right. And I
That's
think
not bad at all.
I think that's what we're going to have to deal with, is we're going to see a bunch of small villains turn out to be part of something bigger. You know, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see that a lot of Spider-Man's villains are working together with somebody much bigger than them. And it could be the Skrull. You know, it could be the Skrull or
that's
posing
true.
as, like, I don't know, Kingpin. Something crazy. Not Kingpin, what's his name? Is it Kingpin?
Most likely.
Who am I
What are you talking
thinking
about?
Big, old, fat guy.
Yeah, big bald dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Kingpin.
like, let's say that a lot of his villains are working for Kingpin, and it turns out Kingpin's working with somebody bigger than Kingpin, and you know, it's just going to be this like infinite cycle of lesser villain teaming up with lesser villain, teaming up with lesser villain, and then oops, surprise, they're all working together with big villain. And that would be the equivalent of like when Loki worked with Thanos in the first movie, and then who was Ultron? You know, he was kind of the second, like just to make you forget about Thanos for a little bit, you know, and then to introduce some of the other stones, introduce Vision, who, by the way, I'm really upset Vision is still just gone. I get that he's like one of the most broken characters in the Marvel universe, but like
Yeah, like Martian Manhunter level.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I feel like he would have been the perfect mentor for the Avengers.
That's
He
true.
gets put out of commission because his stone's gone. He's just a robot now. But because I mean, here's the thing. I get that like Vision himself was Ultron, if that makes sense. But and the stone is what gave him his personality and like his character. But I feel like he should have retained some of himself, even with the Soul Stone.
I don't know if the actor had signed for more
All
roles,
soldiers are
Probably
but
not.
Healing would be appreciated.
I'm sorry that this digresses a little bit. But what's really weird is the actor that played Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron has signed 4 more movies, yet he hasn't shown up yet.
Interesting.
So maybe there's Scarlet Witch thing going on here. But, I think she has a TV show coming up, doesn't she?
I'm not entirely sure, honestly. You know, I'd like to see them do more with Scarlet Witch, just because I feel like she got a lot of character development in Civil War, and that was really all that she got. Other than that, she's been kind of useless, and she's powerful as all hell. So I think, you know, if they're doing the TV show, I don't really know much about that, but if they are, maybe we'll get some more development into her powers. And then they'll phase that into the new Avengers movies or something, and she'll end up like bringing back her brother Quicksilver, which, you know,
Oh God.
definitely would
I
be
didn't even
interesting.
think of that. I keep forgetting that's the actual Scarlet Witch. She can change reality anytime she wanted. And they really put her on
Right,
the scope of how she was in the comics. Oh, it would be nasty. It would be disgusting.
That'd be pretty
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah, so like I could see her also be like. There's a lot of people that worked with the old Avengers that were really just setting up for the new Avengers that I could see them see as like taking the lead, right? They become the leader of the new Avengers, or maybe a split-off sect of, you know, what was the Avengers. We may get a couple different groups that form. Maybe we can say like groups of 3, so we could have. You guys ever play what was it, Marvel Ultimate Universe or what? Marvel Ultimate? The
Alliance.
video game where you could, yeah, Marvel Alliance. You know, whenever you got certain characters together, you would make these certain groups. Like if you got like Hulk, the Thing, Luke Cage, and one other character, you'd have the Bruiser Squad. I could see them doing stuff like that, and that could kind of play into what I was talking about with us seeing like mini team-ups within movies. And, you know, if they did something like that, with small Avengers, and then eventually they all get together, and that's our big Avengers movie. That would be cool. So, you know, we could see like T'Challa, Spider-Man. I don't know who would be another acrobat, but we could have like the acrobatic group, you know, and that would be a big group that fights together. I don't really know how I got on this or where I was going. I kind of lost my train of thought. But you know, I think that'd be an interesting thing to see.
One thing I thought was interesting, something that you brought up, I thought it would be interesting if like Scarlet Witch wants to turn back, you know, time to bring back everyone that, you know, died, or bring back the people that were close to her, like Vision and her brother, and then ended up fucking up the timeline. And it'll build character, because one of the focuses of the movie would be to take out Scarlet Witch, you know, a former teammate who they like really love. And it'd be like a hard thing that they have to like, go through. And it would be like the perfect chance to build relations and build character. It'd be also easy for them to justify like questioning one another, questioning each other's ideals, like how they should use their powers when, you know, shit hits the fan. It'd be a great way to like really expand on like basically what it means to be a hero, you know. And you know Spider-Man, he's gonna have his time to shine. He's gonna be the main focus of that movie. Talking about personal responsibility.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think.
So
Yeah, it could be really cool.
I like the idea of killing Scarlet Witch. Because I am not a big fan of Scarlet Witch. But the whole thing that messes all this up is that, you know, Josh Whedon, I don't know what he was thinking, but he basically just threw Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in that movie. But now that they have Fox, they have that X-Men connection.
Okay.
And I don't think they're gonna have I don't think they're gonna have Scarlet Witch go through a whole thing and die without that X-Men connection. Maybe. That's all I
Yeah,
got about that.
they reset the X-Men universe in the last X-Men movie, didn't they? No. The last X-Men movie was where they introduced Big Baddie.
Apocalypse.
Yeah. You know, I think
guess
what they can do.
Recently, we have Dark Phoenix by.
Yeah, we've got Dark Phoenix coming out.
The hand you
I could
must
see
owe you have.
maybe something going on with Scarlet Witch. Maybe she loses somebody else that she's close to, and
Oh,
that's
God,
just
jeez.
finally what like sets her off, and she snaps. And I could see her messing up the timeline to the point where they can bring in like, you know, alternate Avengers where they're all bad guys, and it's like Avenger versus
no.
Avenger, or the new Avengers have
Classic
to fight off
Avengers.
all of the old Avengers. Ooh, that'd be
Exactly.
cool.
Ultimate Universe Avengers.
That'd be sick. And like, I could see, you know, her doing something stupid like bringing back, or you know, that could be their introduction to the X-Men. Because, you know, right now we don't really have the X-Men in the current Marvel universe. They haven't put them there, right? They haven't even been mentioned. So I could see them, like, she snaps, does something, and that's what creates the X-Men. That's what creates mutants. You know, like
Ooh, an
maybe before the
excuse to
time
bring
skip.
him in.
Right. So, you know, that would be interesting. And with the beginning of mutants coming into the world, we get the X-Men. They could somehow turn that into the Fantastic Four. So like, what if, you know, she did something in space or whatever that set off the what was it, a solar flare, I think, that gives the Fantastic Four their powers.
Cosmic radiation wave from the sun.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, you know, something like that could happen. That could introduce the Fantastic Four. Granted, they're fucking up their origin story, but let's be honest, they've already fucked it up 3 times. So,
First time wasn't so
I mean,
bad.
yeah, the first one wasn't bad. I mean, the movies were kind of meh, but I like the Silver Surfer movie, not gonna lie.
More than
Silver Surfer.
When I saw to digress, when I saw that as a kid, I didn't have a great knowledge about Galactus, but I thought, was it a good depiction of Galactus? A big purple cloud?
I mean, I guess it was alright. Is it, like, you know, he's generally depicted as this gigantic hulking, like, man that's got some crazy looking armor on. But I think him being the gigantic purple cloud wasn't, like, awful. If they had made it to where, like, he shapeshifts and stuff, that would have been one thing. But for the entire purpose of that movie, he was just supposed to be, like, the guy that would destroy the universe. You know?
One
Right.
thing that just hit me? With one of the things that Thanos did was he snapped out all life, like half of all life in the universe, right? What if one of the lives he snuffed out was like a celestial or something? Someone who's like extremely important in the grand scale, and that brings on like celestials to like observe Earth to see how humans are doing, whether or not they're strong enough to be a threat to the gods. Or the same thing with the Beyonders. If you don't want to put the Celestial right, because the Celestials, that has like a whole bunch of backstory in it. You have to go like but then again, that would like feed into the Secret Wars idea that we had earlier. With the whole thing with the Beyonders, what's up?
No, you finish your thought about the Beyond, and I'll comment later.
The whole thing with the Beyonders will also tie into Secret Wars too, because some of the Beyonders, their factions like picked together to try to take on the Celestials, and then all this talk about Celestials and like gods and everything. That just makes me wish that like Doctor Doom was in the Marvel universe, because holy shit. What if that was like the villain of one of the movies, like having to go against Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom has pulled off some insane shit in the comics. Like it's like it's insane. Like he's like
Too insane.
yeah. There was a time he became God himself and reshaped the universe and waged a 1,000-year war against all Celestials, then restored all life in the universe. Stuff like that, you know. There was the time when he, what was his name, Darius? There's something of no mortar, like his the person who taught Doctor Doom his magics.
I don't know.
Okay.
Did I say it? Before?
Basically, is someone who has so much, like he's actually, now that I think about it, this dude is like way too powerful to go into the Marvel universe. Like, to explain who this guy is, he's basically someone who is from our world who got sucked into the Marvel universe, and he has like infinite power. Like, he goes through universe to universe, like testing the wills of the heroes and seeing whether or not either like they'll kill him or they won't get. I remember the comic that I read is he was testing Reed Richards and trying to get him to kill like his original body that was strapped to a chair. I think in our world or something. It's been a long time since I read the comics. But either way, he was trying to get Reed Richards to kill him. And through hundreds of universes, Reed Richards refused to kill him. Which I don't even understand not why. It's not like Reed Richards is fucking Batman. Like, but that kept happening over and over again. And this dude legitimately destroyed entire universes with like a thought. He was insanely powerful. But a character like that can't really fit into the universe. But Doctor Doom himself, like, you know, he can pull off some incredible stuff. Plus, he's a well-known and established character. Like, he can pull off some, like, crazy stuff. Like, honestly, even more so than
so, three
Thanos.
thoughts. Oh, so, I'm sorry, were you done?
Oh, yeah, I was done.
So, three things. Just get out of the way. Doctor Doom would be a great addition, though I would prefer a sympathetic Doctor Doom, like the Doctor Doom who would go to hell to save the soul of his dead mom. That's the Doctor Doom I want to see. Not the Doctor Doom who has a bajillion Doom bots all over the place and manipulates cosmic beings and takes the powers of God. That's not Doctor Doom I really want to see.
Honestly, let's be real here. He doesn't have
call
like all these clones. What he just did was just master the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Let's be real here.
The other two things are. Oh,
No, I was just going to like continue to joke. Like anytime he was about to Kaige boom, Kaige boom, Kaige boom, like over and over again. Just him in the background. He's not even like a scientist. He doesn't know engineering. He just keeps making shadow clones.
I'm sure Doctor Doom mastered shinobi arts while he was in Japan studying as a child. The second thing is I don't want to see Celestial. I don't want to see too much Celestial and Cosmic. Like we had a bit of that with Dormammu and Doctor Strange and the Infinity Gems and Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure those movies, sequels, and Captain Marvel sequels are going to continue to do cosmic shit a little. But yeah, you're right. Those characters are too broken to really fit in the universe.
Yeah.
So they can only be put there in small bursts. Though we might Beyonder, you know that. I'm sure you know that thing where the Beyonders summon Earth's heroes into a cosmic game and he made them fight each other.
Yep. Because it was inspired me at the animated series, like one of my favorite series of all time.
Maybe that has a chance of being adapted. Maybe not. Who knows? And the third thing, what Thor was saying earlier about the villains. Yeah, I would love to see more villains because the villains we have are watered down. Baron Zemo was watered down. He was nothing like the Baron Zemo, you know.
Yeah, all of them was watered down, weren't they? I mean, just look at the
Thanos
Avengers.
was watered down a little.
Oh, he was definitely
we
watered
need
down.
more-
like, if he was
need more
anything like he was in the
larger-than-life
comics, like, it wouldn't even be a series. It wouldn't even be, like, a movie. They wouldn't be able to beat him, you know?
Yeah, see, I want to see more villains that are less, you know, oh, well, we're chasing after this certain item because we know it would help us destroy the planet or take over the world. I want to see a villain that's purely evil and can just destroy the world with, not a snap of a finger, but just, is just powerful enough to be like, yeah, I'll just kill everyone because I can.
Like, nonchalant.
Because I know I can. Right. Like, I want to see a villain that is wholeheartedly, to their core, just evil. does it because they want to, does it because they can, and they can beat the Avengers. They can beat all of the superheroes. But the thing is, the superpowers willpower, or the God, I cannot talk. The heroes, just willpower, just the fact that they're like, no, we can't let this happen, is what helps them win. I want to see essentially what they did in Endgame, where it was Captain America just being like, as long as I'm alive, you're not doing this. I want to see more of that. But the stakes not being, half the universe. It's everything. Literally everything.
I have a few things to say. Number one, I understand what you're going for, but the way you're describing it makes it sound like some fairy tale, I won't let you hurt my friends. I can do anything because of my friend. That type of happy horror shit. But I know that's not what you mean.
Right.
One of the things I would think I would approve of that because it would be a nice change of pace, because this is something that we watched the video on, the unsympathetic villain who always I feel is one of the Bella villains. Now everyone enjoys.
You mean totally
sympathetic
not Mark's
villain.
video on Frieza?
Yeah. And I agree that everyone wants it's good to have a villain that you can sympathize with or understand or can see the point of view from, but it's also good to have a purely just a pure scumbag. It's always good to have a character like that, because because at this point there will be no reason. Number one, we already had sympathetic villains like Loki and Thanos, and then
And Ultron, sort of.
But the thing that would really set that villain apart would be that we can't understand him, that he really is just a piece of shit, and that would we wouldn't have the same retreading of characters over and over again. It'd just be someone that you would actually feel the need to go against. Not only that, but the purpose of a sympathetic villain is to challenge the beliefs of characters. But now most of the characters that are in the Avengers, sure, they're not that as fleshed out yet, but are we really gonna sit here and believe that some of these characters are gonna turn to the dark side or something? No, their ethics are ironclad. So we really don't need another villain that we need to really understand. We just need a villain, just someone to contest. That's the whole point.
Right.
So I disagree. I think what Marvel does so far with villains with somewhat understandable motives just works too damn well. You saw all the praise for Thanos after Infinity War out. There's no way that the screenplays and writers are going to be like, let's not do that. Let's do something different instead.
See, here's the thing. Personally, I just want real stakes.
Exactly.
I know
That's what makes the movie interesting.
Right. Obviously, whenever you're watching, any of the superhero movies, the superhero's going to win in the end. So whenever they didn't win in Infinity War, I feel like everyone was just kind of holy shit, wait, what? That just happened.
Yeah.
Anyone who read the comics knew it was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Anyone who's been keeping up with it knew it was going to happen. But, for a lot of the people who just don't keep up with that stuff, that was, it was like how the Power Rangers lose the first fight every time and then they come back.
Yeah.
And they win in the end. That's how it is. I want real stakes. I want planets to be destroyed. I want lives to be lost. And I want the villain to do it just because they can.
You keep saying you want all these stakes, man. Just go to Applebee's. It's right around the corner.
You got a point. You got a point. You got a point.
So Thor, I agree with you that there needs to be stakes. But I don't agree that it needs to be you say that you want to see a multiverse universal threat threatening all lives in the whole universe. I think that would be a bad way to up the stakes, because we've had that.
Right.
Thanos threatening he was going to destroy the universe. I think we need to I think the best stakes are personal, like a Spider-Man movie. Not destroy the city with my giant blue laser beam. It should be, I'm going to kill your Aunt May. That's the stake.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
We care about Peter Parker.
Ooh.
Okay, I can agree with that. Yeah, I see where you come from. I feel like that would be a lot better than what we're seeing. I think that'd be good for individual movies. I'm thinking more of like team up movies where
Oh, an
things
Avengers
get
movie.
big.
Never.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Okay.
of like an Avengers movie. I want
An argument
I
for
want a
that.
villain who's just bad.
And if you
An
get
argument for that,
You know?
the whole universal grand scale thing, in addition to the Thanos thing, this all like ties into each other because now that there was a person who actually like did something on such a grand scale, like he really like took out half-life in the entire universe. How many universal threats are in the Marvel universe that they can like just? I mean, it's easy pickings now. You could just say Thanos killed like a close friend of like Sentry or something, and then Sentry just became the Void again. Like you could do whatever you want with that. Like it's easy pickings. Not only that,
Right.
but since the entire world, the entire universe was changed because of the actions of Thanos, then the entire universe most likely has their eyes set on Earth now, because that's where this change took place. This is the place that allowed such an evil to occur.
Right.
So it could be the case that we're going to get like more aliens in the Marvel universe, just not only because of Captain Marvel, but because of the fact that like Thanos tampered with everyone, like literally everyone, and now people
Yeah.
are either want revenge or wants to stop this type of shit from happening again.
So, to go back a little on Thor's point on stakes, I think you're right in that obviously in the Avengers movies, the stakes are probably going to be have to be raised a bit, just because people expect it. But I
Right.
think discounting Infinity War and Endgame, take those out of the picture, I think the best Avengers movie was Civil War. And the stakes weren't
Oh, yeah.
going to be blown up. The stakes were the destruction of Iron Man, of Tony and Steve's friendship. Like, that was
Right.
far more emotionally
Charged.
emotionally, yes, there was far more emotion in that than Ultron gonna destroy Latveria and humans, or Loki gonna invade the Earth with this alien army. I don't know how they would do this in the 16th. Baron Zemo's whole deal was to pit them against each other. That was his goal.
Right.
When Drew was saying earlier about Scarlet Witch possibly being at the center of another disaster and them having to be forced to kill her, that could be another personal thing. That would be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I have to say on that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
They can do a lot of really interesting stuff with what's coming up. I'm excited to see villains mostly, more than anything, because, I mean, yeah, like we've seen Thanos.
Yep.
He's the biggest baddie they've had yet, and the stakes were the highest they've ever been. And they're gonna have to top that in order to keep people coming.
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
next
That's probably one of
baddie-
the things that directors were like thinking about. How are you going to top Thanos? Like the bar's been set so high now.
Right.
Or there
I mean,
are-
you can't
Speaking of the directors,
really. Go ahead.
I just want to know, do you know if the brothers going to continue directing movies, or was this their last?
Wait, what was the question? Sorry.
Or the Russo brothers going to continue directing movies for Marvel, or was Endgame the last one?
I mean, I hope they do personally, just because I feel like they've done a fantastic job so far. The characters have been,
retirement anyway.
for the most part, good. The stakes have been good. The movies have been good. I mean, I don't think I've really had a problem with any Marvel movie other than, like, Thor: Dark World. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
I
I'm sorry
hope.
for interrupting.
Oh no, you're good. I hope they're still directing. I don't know if they've come out and confirmed or denied that yet, though.
I think they've done a fine job, but their directing style is, when you go back and look at their movies, it's pretty samey. Have that gray
Yeah.
palette look. The fight
Right.
environments are devoid of people.
Yeah,
I think
really-
I think it's time for new interesting blood.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, we do need a change of pace, especially with them moving into a whole new phase with the new Avengers. It's time for things to change. I can agree with that. I feel like their formula's good, but it's getting to the point to where it's overplayed. And yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. It's about time things change. But at the same time, you know, I feel like they've done a good job. They've portrayed characters properly. Or for the most part at least, they've done things well. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they kept directing, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind a change of pace. As long as whoever came in to direct the new movies came in and knew what they were doing, you know?
Right. Yep.
But that's kind of hard. I mean, we see what happened with, for example, the DC movies. Granted, they're on a whole nother level of, yeah, but you know,
I think the problem with these movies is just time. They just wanted to rush a lot.
oh yeah,
If they
they're
took their
trying to
time, I'm sure the
compete
movies
with-
would turn out fine.
Right, they're trying to compete with Marvel by doing what Marvel did, but instead of doing, you know, everybody gets their own individual movie. We've seen tons of character development, tons of, you know, plot points that come into the main movies where they team up. Marvel or DC just said, just put them in a movie and we'll see what happens.
It wasn't
And
a
it
bad
wasn't
idea.
great.
I kind of liked it. It would be nice
Really?
to have the universes of the Earth has a big attack and all the heroes come out of nowhere to save it, and they all like decide, hey, we did a pretty good job. Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. I just wish we had more character development from everybody. You know, in my opinion,
Absolutely,
Captain Marvel, or not Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman's movie was hands down the best. I mean, you know, like, we saw her lose somebody she cared about. We saw her fighting with, I don't want to say like a moral dilemma, because it's been a while since I've seen it, but like, you know, we saw her fight for what she felt was right, and we saw her generally be a badass. I mean, that's pretty important. You know, a bunch of stuff happened in her movie that was good. And if you compare that to,
Captain Marvel.
I don't know, Batman, yeah, or I was thinking more of like Aquaman's movie. You know, like Aquaman's movie was, I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
I saw a little bit of it on the plane ride here. It did look okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the track fight scene with his mom in the house. That was neat.
Yeah, I think as far as the movie being compared to the rest of the DC universe, I think his was the most colorful. And
yeah.
definitely had some of the best visuals. The fight scenes were pretty badass. You know, they did a lot right with it, but at the same time, I feel like there was a lot that could have been improved on in his movie. That's just me, and it's been a while, so I honestly couldn't give you specifics with it. I still feel like Wonder Woman was the best. I can't remember if they did a solo movie with... oh yeah, I guess they did Batman vs. Superman to introduce both of those characters.
I'm on fire.
Thing about that is they're both gone. Henry's gone. Affleck's gone.
Yeah. You know, I liked Henry Cavill as Superman, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't mind his Superman.
I mean, he
thought
looked
the
like
story was
Superman,
too
but I didn't like the way the story went. I didn't like Man of Steel, the way
Yeah.
it was directed, because Zack Snyder, dumbass, had to be an edge lord
Yeah.
the entire movie.
Yeah, it was a little rough. I liked the way Ben Affleck's Batman looked. I wish he had been more of Batman than Batman. But you know, it is what it is. Have you guys seen who they've chosen to be the new Batman?
Yep. I am down for it.
Really? Okay. See, a lot of people I say really hate the idea, and while I'm not opposed to it, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
They don't. I don't know why people think that this is a bad idea. Like they realize they have like makeup departments, right? I'm sure.
Right.
The actors go through training. I'm sure Robert Pattinson is going to look like some. Could definitely like could pull off a convincing Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm really excited to see his Bruce Wayne. I feel like that's going to be his strongest part of the character. You know, because like we've seen Ben Affleck, who, in my opinion, played a better Batman than he did a Bruce Wayne, and then we had God, what was his name? He was in the Dark Knight movies. Chris. Yeah, I don't know.
Chris
You know
Columbus.
who I'm talking about, though. Yeah.
Bale,
I've-
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale. There we go. Christian Bale, I think, did pretty all right. He definitely did a better Bruce Wayne, but it wasn't great. You know, he was somewhere in between on both, in my opinion.
I hate
you know,
his Batman. God.
Really?
I did not like the growly voice. The fight scenes were absolutely terrible.
I can agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Those are my 2 big points.
Yeah, I
Do
feel
you
like his
bleed?
villains were some of the best.
You.
Yeah, that was rough. So I think Robert Pattinson is really going to pull off a great Bruce Wayne, but his Batman is what I'm worried about. And, you know, I'm worried with what they did with Jared Leto. I didn't hate his Joker, but I didn't love it, you know?
Never stop.
I'm worried that they're going to do something similar to Robert Pattinson as Batman. They're going to make him edgy, a little extra than he needs to be.
Well, it's not
He's
DC
just-
without a
he's-
little edge.
I mean, yeah, at this point, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to fuck up Batman, but at the same time, it's not that hard to fuck up Batman. You know, like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just interested to see what he does with it. Because if he plays a good Bruce Wayne, then he's got to play a better Batman. You know?
All I need from Batman, really, is really good action scenes. I love Batman
Yeah.
beating the crap out of people.
Yeah, I mean, if he can play a good ninja, we're good. You know?
That's it's why I'm not so big a fan of the critically acclaimed Christopher Nolan series. Like
Yeah.
watching, what was the first? Batman Begins, and that did you see Batman Begins?
I think so. Yeah, it's been forever since I've
It
seen
was
it.
the
but
villain
yeah, I
with
saw
Ra's
it.
al Ghul.
Yeah. I
And
remember
right,
that.
right before the end, before the train, Batman gets like assaulted by these two, maybe one ninja guy, and there's this annoying series of jump cuts of just like arms and legs being thrown around. Right? Am
Yeah.
I crazy? God.
No, I
that
remember what
was
you're talking
So awful. Christopher Nolan is great at cinematics and dialogue, I guess, but action scenes were not his thing. That
Oh, yeah,
fight scene
most
against
definitely.
Bane in Dark Knight Rises,
Old soldier.
god
Oh my
awful.
god. That it was rough. It was real rough. Oh.
Is there any other topics that we
Batman
wanted to talk
v
about?
Superman. Yeah, I've got tons. That new Joker, I think DC should just forget trying to copy Marvel and just do artistic films.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I'm
Yeah,
so
they're
excited
animated
for the new
films.
Joker movie.
Oh,
Honestly, when it
excited
comes
for
to
that
animation, they're
Oh, yeah.
normally on point. Except for Teen Titans Judas Contract and Doomsday. Those are like pretty shit ones. Everything else is on
Wait,
point.
wait,
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
wait. Whoa, Doomsday. What Doomsday?
When the Justice League went against Darkseid.
Was that? Wait, you mean an animated movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
talking
Justice
about the
League
new-
War.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, my bad.
shit, that's right.
Yeah, that was a shit movie. You're right.
Yeah, I'm mostly talking about in terms of like actual, like movies. Like Marvel has it, but when it comes to animated stuff, then you can't compete with DC. Spider-Man the animated series is one of the few good ones that they have. But Batman the animated series, Static Shock, Teen Titans. I mean, the list goes on. Like you really can't compare.
But they also have they also had Teen Titans Go, so you gotta count that against them.
That's true.
But I did
You know,
like Teen Titans Go
I-
movie, surprisingly. It was alright.
I think right now is a big turning point for DC because
Oh, yeah?
Marvel has a big decision to make at the moment as to how they proceed. Now they've still got the Spider-Man thing going, which is really the biggest draw to the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the moment. Is
I
it's
think
Spider-Man
Black Panther,
because
but
everyone.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, Black Panther too. But I mean, as far as things go,
Much better.
if they fuck up the next big movie they make that isn't Spider-Man, then this is DC's breakout point. This is their chance to really get out there and start breaking into cinematics. You know, I mean, that's just me personally, but if
They
go ahead.
they are. You're right. They are, but I think they're definitely getting off. From on paper, it seems like they're getting off to the right foot. They have James motherfucking Gunn directing their next Suicide Squad movie. They have that Joker film coming out, which could be good. Who knows?
Right. I mean, yeah. This is right now is DC's make or break point when
It's
it comes to
their time.
cinematics.
It's their
Right,
time.
I mean, this
It
is the
pretty much
only
has to
chance
be. They're so
gonna
far
get.
behind. They're so far behind. If
Right.
they fuck this up, they're just done.
Yeah, I mean, if they, yeah, because I mean, you got to think about it. Like, this is really the only chance that they're gonna get for another 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, before they phase into Avengers Part 3 or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is their moment, and if they don't capitalize on it,
You know
then
what I
they're
was just
fucked.
thinking?
And
DC actually has a chance because with the Marvel movies, they're starting up a new era. DC sadly
right, that's what I'm saying.
hasn't like established their own, so now like it's gonna be like a new era versus the old with them bringing back, you know, they're revamping like Superman and everything. Everyone's gonna be nostalgic for the old crew, given the fact that the original Avengers are gone.
Right, exactly. So, go ahead.
Maybe I just, you guys are kind of making it sound like, oh, this is DC's last chance to get their foot in the door. But I think that these characters, no matter how much we complain about the movies, people are obviously, yes, there are going to be like some groups of people who are going to be like, you know what, I'm done with DC movies, I'm not going to see another one. But I think largely, the mainstream audience, the casuals, the normies, they will still come to see DC movies, no matter what they do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, but I mean, I'm saying like, as far as them like really being able to finally make a name for themselves
Yeah.
and make it to where they're
Critical
pulling in
acclaim.
people like Marvel does. Right. This is I mean, their big chance. You know, Marvel's finna see a huge dip in audience, even if it's just for a couple movies. You know, we're gonna get probably 3 or 4 solo movies before we get the next big team up movie with Marvel, and that's over the span of probably 4 or 5 years we're looking at least. So, you know, with this new Joker movie coming out, people are gonna go see that, right? And if it's good, people may be like, hey, let's give DC another chance. You know? So I mean, like, this is really their big moment. I mean, obviously all the Marvel fanboys, we're always going to go watch the Marvel movies because they're just good. And until they fuck it up. Right. Well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, as far as DC goes, at this point, everyone's kind of like, DC, you need to change it up. You need to do something
Are
better.
they though? I mean, Aquaman made it.
Oh no, Aquaman
Shit,
was
I
great,
was
and I think that's
expecting that.
because they did something different. You know, all of the previous DC movies, and I say previous like it wasn't 3 movies, but you know, Batman versus Superman generally seen as pretty bad. Wonder Woman did really well, but they followed the same formula as Batman versus Superman.
Let's
the big
be
reason
real.
it did
Wonder
so
Woman
well,
only did with you're about to say the same thing I'm about to say. Like it's
Yeah.
just because it was something that was competent, which you don't see in DC anymore.
right? And I mean, another big reason was that was the first big female role we've seen in the superhero movie in a while.
Yep.
And that's part of the reason it did so well. And that's not me being like, oh, you know, sexist or
No, that was
anything.
the
That's
market.
just a
That was
fact.
literally the-
Like,
yeah, that was the advertisement.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that was the point.
How can
of
we
them making
forget
that movie?
the great movie that was Catwoman from 2004, starring Halle Berry?
Oh God, good old Halle Berry.
Oh, sweet baby
God.
Jesus. Eventually, we're going to do a
God.
podcast of all the girls that, like, first made our wee wee stand in attention. Like, that was definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, same. But I mean, you know, that, and like DC hasn't done terrible. Don't get me wrong. Their movies haven't been great, but they've done well enough. Suicide Squad, generally seen as pretty bad, but overall, I think for what it was, taking a step back and looking at it as one of the first big DC movies that wasn't focused on a superhero, I think it did pretty well for itself. You know? I mean, they showed off characters that a lot of people don't know about. They showed Captain Boomerang, even though he wasn't really Captain Boomerang. They got Will Smith in a role. That's always good.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, is it? But, I mean, you know, it was what it was, and I think for
What you believe in.
a movie that was, really when you think about it, kind of the first of its kind, where we focused on the villains and they weren't seen
Absolutely.
as villains,
Yeah.
I think it did pretty well for itself. And
I
I
have
think
to say, now that you point it out, I don't think Marvel could ever do something like this in their movies. A Suicide
right,
Squad.
exactly. I mean, you with the way that Marvel villains are, and the way their motives are, we'll never see something like that come from Marvel. They may try, but I don't think it'll do it the same way Suicide Squad did. You know, I mean, people legitimately like fell in love with the villains of Suicide Squad. You know, and I don't think that supervillain turned good guy is something we'll ever truly see from the Marvel Universe. And if we do, I can tell you right now, it's not going to go the same way that Suicide Squad did.
Yeah.
Again, don't get me wrong, Suicide Squad was not great by any means. You know, it did what it did, and for what it was what it was. I mean, that's all there is to it.
It was a thing. It happened. Oh, it happened.
Oh yeah, it just did happen. I mean, so like, you know, I don't know, man. DC, this is their opportunity, and this is the only one they're gonna get for a while.
Yeah, DC,
to-
don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a now or never kind of thing with them. You know, I'm not saying that people won't go see their movies, like you said. People are gonna go watch DC.
But right
movies
now,
because
this is not. No. I think one thing that really like puts this into focus. This is the height of superhero popularity. Let's say if DC like fucked
Right.
this up and they had to wait like 10 years to like get back on the wagon. That's a long fucking time. Who knows the audience is even going to respond the same way that they do now to superhero movies. I mean, maybe the fad dies
Right.
out by then. Maybe people get burned out with like movie after movie being announced over and over again. Because that's one thing that some people are already getting tired of. It's like every single time, like a movie ends or like a month later after like a movie's release, they announce that there's going to be another movie in like less than a year. Some people are actually getting tired
Yeah.
of that. So if DC really wants like the amount of money that Marvel is generating right now, they really need to like get on their shit and fast.
Yeah, and I just
I agree.
thought of this and wanted to throw this out there. You know, I think a big reason that the superhero movie market is doing so well right now is because, for the most part, movies are just remakes nowadays. We're not really seeing many original ideas, and superhero movies are the most original thing we're getting. Now, you know, to comic book heroes, or comic book fans, it's still technically a remake when you think about it, because most people who've read the comics at least have an idea of what's going to happen. So, I mean, you know, in 10 years we may get a new series of movies that are doing really well, and there's no telling what those will be. But I mean, yeah, this is kind of a make or break point for DC to get their foot in the door, and you know, Marvel really has to tread lightly here soon. I mean, it's getting to the point to where people are gonna start taking a step back. You know, these are, you know, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. Those are heroes that I grew up with, as far as the cinematic universe goes. You know, I think I was like 8 whenever the first Iron Man movie came out. You know, like I've been watching these. Yeah, I'm only 18. You know, I've been watching these movies my whole life. So, you know, it's getting to the point to where that's not gonna be a draw for an
Thor,
audience
if you keep
anymore.
saying like this is going to be their only chance to get the foot in Thor, if you say this for the 8th time, I'll punch you in the mouth.
Look, I'm just saying, man. Like they've got a choice to make, and it's now or never. And I'm focused on a video game, so it's hard for me to form a thought. So I keep repeating myself.
All right, Wop. All right. Wop.
It happens, bud.
You have the
So like I
makings
was
of
saying-
a politician in you.
I don't know. I'm interested to see where everybody goes. I really want to know who the next characters are going to bring in are, because I feel like, for Marvel, they've introduced the majority of the new Avengers, right? But they've got to bring in some other characters over time. The same way that like it started out with the main group of Avengers, and then we saw Scarlet Witch, we saw Spider-Man come in, we saw T'Challa come in. So, you know, granted that was towards the end of the Avengers phase, and we're probably another 6-7 years out from seeing any new characters introduced, but I'm interested to see who they are.
I mean, we already know the next few movies. We know there's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We know of a Black Panther 2 coming, Doctor Strange 2. Couple Captain Marvel sequels, maybe. And Black Widow prequel.
Yeah, she's getting her own prequel, even though she's dead.
Yeah, they're
The best time to make a movie about someone is when they're dead.
because now
You
they
got a
want to
point.
like that's the perfect timing actually, because now everyone's like, I miss Scarlet Witch. Never fear, Disney is here.
Yeah, I mean, and you know,
Here's
I
your
think they did that on
nostalgia.
purpose. Because when you think about it, like, Black Widow died, and then not too long after, Iron Man died. And so she's gotten no love at all. Nobody really gives a shit that she's dead. So I think the fact that they're putting out that prequel is to be like, hey, look, we knew that you wouldn't care when she died, so here's a prequel to make you care now that she's dead.
It's not a bad plan. It's very smart.
Before we continue with that, what about One Piece? Because me and Darius are up to date with One Piece, and we're already, catching up with the latest releases of the manga chapters. But you, Thor, you're only 200 episodes in, and I want, like, for instance, Thor to like get your opinions on things. I told him that you don't really like Usopp, and he kind of he didn't really understand that. I want you two to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So, right now I'm in the, what's the game called? It's, Davy...
The Davy back
Davy
fight.
back fight.
Yeah, I'm in the Davy back fight with, the Foxy Pirates.
Yep.
I think last episode I watched was when, let's see, I think it was Zoro and Sanji fought off the guys in, the Giants in the soccer game. I don't really remember what it's called. And I think Luffy ended up choosing the horse to give back to the old man. So that's where I'm at right now. I think the next Davy back fight is going to happen in the next episode I need to watch. What the fuck is this? What the shit? Six, what is this?
I haven't the slightest clue.
What the fuck?
It's the Xbox logo. It's the new Xbox logo that they're putting into the game. I hope that's
Oh, is that where they have to get to win? No. That's weird.
Never seen that before.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the reason I don't like Usopp right now, his character hasn't had a ton of development at the moment. We've seen, I mean, he's had some development, don't get me wrong. He's working towards becoming a man. But at the end of the day, he's still a pussy. He doesn't really fight for anything. He just is, doing everything he can to survive. And while I understand that, because that's part of his character, I want him to be more useful.
Yeah. I got you.
Go ahead.
So, I would love if you could film your reaction to all of the Water 7 arc, because I think you're gonna fucking love that. Or the arc where I'm not gonna spoil, but it's the arc.
Oh yeah,
after
that's the arc
Skypiea.
coming up. Yeah, I completely agree. Don't spoil him yet, but I already let him know that's
I'm trying
that's
not
a
to.
that's where yeah it's hard. I know it's really fucking hard, but that's gonna be like where where you meet like a very enigmatic character, a very eccentric character, someone who's
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in regards to Usopp. I think you're gonna like.
yeah
Usopp in
yeah
that arc.
that too.
Okay. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. I love everybody in One Piece. I love their characters. I love what they do. I love the fact that, you know, they don't give a fuck. They're gonna fight for what they believe in, and like that's all there is to it. And I just feel like right now, Usopp's really the only one who doesn't
I'm not
truly fit in with the group, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
He doesn't really have the heart
You
of
know?
fire that Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji have.
No,
Right, and I mean,
no,
even-
no.
I mean, it's just like he has it, but I feel like he hasn't really shown it. You know?
Even Nami's shown it. Everyone really has shown that fire except for him. The
Right.
only actually no, there was
Everyone-
one time he actually did, and that was when like he like chose to get up and fight to like to help save Nami and Luffy and Zoro during the time they were fighting against Arlong. That's the only time he showed really character and like stood up for himself and did something that really goes against his cowardly nature.
Right.
I think it says a lot about
thought you would
Usopp
act like
and
that.
indirectly Luffy in that at the end of Usopp's arc on that island, instead of staying in that probably safe town and macking on his waifu, he decides to go with Luffy. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it says a lot that even despite his cowardly nature, he still decides to go on a journey that could very well likely lead to his death.
Right. And I can agree with that. Yeah. I mean, but like, I feel like that's really the most we've seen him show his colors. You know? I mean, for the most part, he always just kind of runs away. And don't get me wrong, I can understand it. I can understand it because he doesn't have any special powers. He's nowhere near the same level as any of the other characters. You know, even
Yep.
Nami, she's got her super OP weapon now. But I mean,
Yeah,
that's
funny,
really
that's everything.
it. You know, like,
Did you get through the Arlong arc?
yeah, we've gone
Did you
through
see
the Arlong
Usopp's
arc.
fight with that fish man? He got fucking wrecked.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Which was kind of crazy, actually. But at the same time, you know, I feel like that. I mean, that was more.
Sorry.
What is
Sorry.
that noise?
Motorcycle.
Oh, okay. At the same time, I mean, I feel like that was kind of more of Usopp just outsmarting him. Kind of in the same way that Nami's weapon works. Every time she wins a fight with that thing, it's just because she's outsmarted them. You know, she figured out how to use the weapon whenever she fought Spike Lady against one of the, I think it was what, number 3 or 4, something like that. Like, that was just because she figured out how to use it to make lightning and all this other shit. So, like, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, don't get me
So
wrong.
you
I know that. Go ahead.
So you saw Alabasta too,
Yeah. I've been through the Alabasta arc.
and Usopp and Chopper's fight with that guy.
Patched up.
Yeah. He also
He got
outsmarted
fucked
them.
up.
Yeah, and he still stood
Usopp
up.
takes
Which,
so much punishment. So I feel like,
Yep.
despite his cowardly nature, maybe Oda in that early time was like really, really punishing him for it.
yeah, I can agree with that. You know, I feel like that was really the moment. That was the first moment where I was like, oh shit, maybe it wasn't a mistake bringing him. You know?
Yeah, he's got
And
heart.
that. Right, and like it's pretty obvious he's willing to fight for the things he cares for. You know, he's got the same spirit, the same heart, the same, I don't know, gusto, I don't know what the fuck to call it, as the rest of the boys. But like, I feel like we shouldn't see him running from fights as much anymore. You know, whenever the what was it? The Cloud City arc happened, I can understand him running from Inaru, cause that was Inaru. And he still got zapped by a fuck ton of lightning and was just like,
Oh
"Ah,"
yeah.
you know? and like it's pretty obvious that he can take close to the same amount of damage as, you know, Zoro and Sanji and them, but like at the same time he's nowhere near the same attacking level, if that makes sense. You know, it just
He is not gonna jump to a fight and like just go at it. He's
No,
gonna,
Right.
he's gonna be as
Sniper.
cautious as hell.
right, and like I get that. Like Six said, he's the sniper. He's not really supposed to be in the middle of
He's
shit.
support.
But like, right. But at the same time, like I'm tired of seeing him run. I'm just tired of seeing him run away.
Well, you'll be glad to know that I don't think Usopp has that many fights. So,
That's good.
Yeah, it's mostly Luffy and the monster trio, as they're called, taking up the brunt of the action.
Yeah.
That's good.
So what
Yeah, I mean, I
want
love
you to
One
do
Piece
now,
though.
what I want you to do now is like just first of all tell them the impressions that you got from. Well, mostly what I want you to do is just tell you things like what you think is going to happen, like what you expect for the rest of the series.
Okay, yeah, just I don't know. I guess ask me questions because like I don't really know where to begin.
Like guesses
It's
and
hard to ask
whatnot.
questions when you already know the answers, but okay, here we go.
No. Honestly, this is just funny. I'm just doing this for shits
Oh,
and
boy.
giggles. Number one, what are the type of devil fruits that you think that other characters are going to have in the future?
Oh, dude. Okay, we've seen some crazy shit. We've seen, you know, the chop fruit that Buggy
Yep.
has. Obviously, the rubber fruit. I guess Inaru has the light. He ate the lightning fruit or something, right? Or was he actually just an elemental?
Never stop fighting.
It was a Logia electricity fruit, I believe. I know it was a
It's
Logia.
good to be home.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me to see something like. I'm thinking of something kind of like Bane. You know how in the comic books,
Super
Bane can, well, like he juices himself up and he gets like 10 times bigger.
Yep,
It wouldn't surprise me if we see somebody that can do that because of a devil fruit.
like a strength
Um,
enhancement.
Right. I know that at some point Luffy has different gears that he can switch to. I haven't seen them yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if we see something like that from Luffy. What else is there? We've seen. Let's see. Have we seen what's her face? The lady who got fat. Have we seen her power? Yeah,
Oh,
she ate
Vito?
like a slippery fruit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she's like slippery now. That one's kind of dumb. It wouldn't surprise me if we
But
see
hey,
an Earth
at
Elemental.
least we got a waifu out of it.
Yeah,
true.
you're right.
I'm
You're
glad
right.
for that.
Oh, who's best girl,
It
Thor?
wouldn't-
I mean, we're going to continue with that, but who's
best-
best girl?
I mean, honestly, I want to say Nami. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
I know, right?
Oh, dude, Robin is best girl at this point. in the story.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, my man.
Dude,
my
that,
man.
that nose and that skin.
Yeah.
You know
mean,
they
you got
can't
a point.
compare.
You got a
Not
point.
only that,
you
but
got
she's
a point.
smooth and cool. I mean, don't worry. I mean, let's be real here. Like, all of us would fuck Nami. Like, she's super fucking sexy.
Oh yeah.
Like, I can't blame Sanji.
Nope, pass.
You don't even think she's sexy? Are you
Hard
kidding
pass.
me?
Nope.
Oh my
No.
god, this dude. This is blasphemy.
She has a
Damn.
full personality.
Oh, he's one of the. Okay. Maybe he's one of
Okay.
those that can't.
He's
But okay, that's a bunch of layers. Okay, number one, you can't separate the body from the personality. Which okay.
Nope.
I can think like that in like terms of like real life when it comes to like anime bitches. I just want to fuck, just smash. But but when it comes to Nami's personality, yeah, sure, she's a gold digger. That like if you ever like spent the night with her, you'll wake up tomorrow like chained to your bed and your wallet missing. But she does have moments in the series where she displays that she really does have a heart of gold. I didn't mean for that to come across
Right.
that way, but she really is someone who really genuinely cares about her friends and would do anything to protect them. She's even gone into a harm's way herself just to keep Luffy and the gang safe. Like we've seen that multiple
Right.
times with her.
Hold up. Get in there.
After
Yeah.
lots and lots and lots of prodding.
Hey, my girlfriend is calling. Give me a second. I gotta answer the phone.
No
No
problem.
problem.
But yeah, like
Man, how long have we gone so far? Jeez.
almost 2 hours. It's been an hour and 44 minutes.
Really? It feels so much longer.
Mostly because we stayed on that one topic for way too long about Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
But although it was really good
No,
though.
we could have gone more. We could have gone deeper.
Really? Where could we have even gone from there? Like I feel like we say all that
Well,
that we
okay,
could
maybe
say.
not that topic in particular, but I was never going to divert to other Disney franchises like Star Wars and Disney princess movies. That's my thing, man. It's what I love.
I mean, what could we even say about them? I mean, it's Disney movies. I mean, they're all good.
I want to get his opinion on Star Wars and where it is right now.
I don't think Thor is a really a big Star Wars fan. Not that I know of. I
We're
don't
about
think
to
he is.
find out. I want to know. I got to know.
I wanna know. Can you show me? I wanna know about the strangers like me.
You. How do you know? How do you know that song?
What, Tarzan?
Yes. You watched Tarzan lately?
Of course. Like, is this a segue? What's happening? Of course I watched Tarzan.
I don't expect people to just like. You remember that song from when you were a child watching Tarzan? Did you watch it?
Yeah, because we watched it so much. Like, again, like when you're a kid, you don't just watch like a Disney movie once. You watch it 1,000 times at minimum.
At minimum.
Yeah, like you,
know,
have to watch it
I-
at least
I
1,000
really-
times.
Right. I mean, I know I had some Disney movies on VHS, but I can hardly remember most of them. But you're right. The one Disney like movie I missed out on was the first Goofy movie. I need to go back and watch that.
Play of the game.
I honestly don't remember the
'Cause
first
we-
Goofy movie.
Yeah, I mean neither. It's the second one for me.
I only remember the very Goofy movie with Max and I too I. That's how
Where
I
he does
knew
a
that
musical?
Goofy and the gang were black, or all the soul that they put into that song "Eye to Eye." That's how you knew. That's how you fucking knew.
Oh, and props to Disney for doing a single dad movie. Don't see a lot of those.
Yeah, it's very rare that you see those. Even though honestly, they should be a lot more prevalent. One of the things I wanted to ask Thor about is just like his like what he believes is going to happen later on in the story with certain characters, because again, I pretty much haven't spoiled anything for him. The most that I did was tell him the names and like describe some of the like the people that are joining the crew, and I let him know like how Robin pretty much assimilated into the crew, how she's become a little more lackadaisical and well, not lackadaisical, but a little more fitting of a straw hat. She's took on a few of their traits, especially with the whole buck chin pose that she did in Wano.
Yeah, we need more Goofy Robin.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
It's really the highlight of the entire manga for me.
Yeah. So right now for you, it's probably close to Monday for you.
Sunday.
Well, what time is it over there? Do you know what time it is over there?
1:49 p.m.
1:49 p.m. Okay. So, yeah, probably in like probably on Monday for you. Probably even like Monday morning. That's probably gonna be when E3 takes place, and we'll definitely have to like schedule when we can like talk about all of the press
Oh, it's
conferences
on your
and games.
Sunday. Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, normally like the exact date for E3 is June 10th to like June 12th, but normally they start early around like June 9th.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
I still the idea of like doing my research on the videos and the studios and see what they say behind the scenes about the games first, then talk about it.
yeah.
I want as much information as I can before I put my foot in my mouth.
That'd probably be for the best because we could sit here and speculate about E3 all we want, like what's
Yes.
gonna like go down with
Yes.
Halo Infinite, but overall,
Yes.
I really don't think that we'll be able to like really like call anything that's gonna like happen.
Yeah. I really hope. I know you guys need to get to bed soon, but I really hope we can get like our predictions out quickly before our call-ins.
Yeah. Then when Thor gets off the phone, then we could probably do that. I mean, me and Thor already talked about this multiple times, what we're expecting at E3.
Oh, yeah.
But so far we don't have much to really go on.
Well, I wasn't expecting another FromSoft game so quickly after Sekiro. I thought they were going to take like at least a year off.
Yeah,
I did.
So far, it seems like the Hideki Miyazaki. I think that's who is the leader of the From Software team that makes the Dark Souls games. He's the director. He seems to have just mastered the formula and has just been churning out games, and he's been even making games simultaneously. I think that's what happened here with Sekiro. The game that they're releasing now was also created during the time that he was making Sekiro, because he did the same thing with Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully Elden Ring is the PS5's Bloodborne.
I wonder if they're actually going to like spill the beans on whether or not they'll have like the new consoles.
On the From Software game?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rumor was that it was a game to be on PC, Xbox One, and PS4.
No, I'm talking about, you just said PS5. Are you just going to be for like next generation consoles?
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. No, that's next year, not this year.
All right.
What's up, boys?
Is he back?
Yep.
We're back. You were talking about Devil Fruits.
Oh yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me to see like an Earth Elemental. I'm thinking like Earthbender from Avatar, or even just somebody who messes with plants. So think of like Poison Ivy from Batman.
No, there's no Hashirama.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see somebody. Right now the Foxy Pirate guy, he can slow down time with like a laser, but it's only for a certain amount of time. It wouldn't surprise me if we see somebody who can completely and entirely control time. Yeah. I know we've seen very briefly before Luffy and the pirate and the Straw Hats entered the Grand Line. He was, or I guess he didn't encounter somebody, but Fate or Smoke encountered a guy named Fate, I believe. I don't know what his power is, but it kind of seems like he's a little bit of everything wrapped into one. Or maybe he's like a weather elemental, like can just control the weather like Storm from the X-Men. Wouldn't surprise me if we see somebody who can control animals, like mind control animals.
Green Bull.
Yeah. Or just somebody who can, I don't know, what's the character's name? I think he's a DC character, but he can like combine animals or something like that, or turn into a combined set of animals. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if we see someone like that. I'm just throwing things out from stuff I've seen in the past from other TV shows. Wouldn't surprise me if we see somebody like the Skrull. I think that would actually be a really interesting arc, to see somebody take Luffy's power and Luffy essentially have to fight himself.
I mean, he's still kicking ass.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw somebody who can... I don't know, man. There's just so much that can happen with Devil Fruits at this point.
Yeah, the sky's the limit.
That's the great thing about Devil Fruits. They're so creative. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's a great excuse to just introduce new powers at a whim and stuff, like making up bullshit. Oh, you got this because of toxic radiation. No, it's just Devil Fruits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they can do literally anything they want.
Yeah.
So, when I was younger, I always thought, ooh, wouldn't it be neat to have a Mizu no Mi, like a water fruit?
Ooh.
But that'll probably break some rules. Wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, okay, here's one thing I don't understand, right? So, the ocean cancels out devil fruit powers, right? What about fresh water?
I think.
Right, so what about fresh water?
Oh, wait. I believe it's canon that if the devil fruit user like gets too deep into like a bath, they will still be like weak. They'll still feel the effects.
Yeah.
So I think it's any kind of water.
Yeah, if it's over like knee level, then it starts to affect you.
But what about the fact that they have to drink water to survive?
As long as it's not like over the knee, then like it doesn't affect them.
Okay,
Same,
but to fight off Crocodile, Luffy literally had to fill his body with a jug of water.
So
but it's mostly affecting the outer
I
skin.
don't think it's water itself. I think it's just the fact that the whole is symbolic that you get this power, you can no longer swim.
It's like a body of water because they're like the enemies of the sea, So as long as it's not
Okay, that
like a
makes
body
sense.
of water, then it really doesn't affect them like that.
Huh. Weird.
Don't think about it. Don't
Yeah,
think about it too much.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see a character who has armor made out of like the sea stones. I think that'd be pretty cool. A really interesting fight to see.
We kind of got that with one of the movies recently, with just the arm.
60 seconds remaining.
So like, whenever Crocodile captured Luffy and his crew, he put them in a cell made out of sea stones and stuff. So what if we saw somebody make a full-blown set of armor out of that? That'd be cool as hell.
Sure would be. Although, yeah, you're right.
I mean, don't get me
Oh.
wrong, like, Luffy
If
would
they
be the
face-
only
if
one
they
who couldn't
face a
fight him
devil
at that
fruit user
point.
who can like shoot electricity from a mile away, they're kind of screwed.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, you true. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if what's his name, Don something. Yeah,
Don-
he was the guy who plays Dirty. If I
That
remember
was a great
correctly.
fight, by the way. I love that.
It really was. Yeah, that was such a good like quick little arc there. I was kind of amazed. But yeah, I wouldn't surprise me if I saw like him go for revenge against Luffy and was wearing an armor made out of sea prisms or sea stones.
Not bad. Interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised
That-
if a recent character that was introduced in the manga, who's of great importance and was silhouetted out, I wouldn't be surprised if he had that. Then again, he might be so strong he doesn't like really need it. It might not be required.
Yeah.
But it'd be possible because I mean, who else would have that much sea stone?
Right.
You don't know. What do you mean?
Well, we're
you don't
gonna
know who
try
we're
to
talking
avoid
about.
Yeah, I
So-
know, but I'm gonna act like I do.
I don't know who he's talking about, by the way.
Reverie. At the end of Reverie,
Reverie? But who?
a guy silhouetted out. I don't want to spoil.
Six,
Thor.
you can say his name. I'm not gonna remember.
That's true. Emu.
Inu? Emu?
Yeah.
I am drawing a blank.
Are you serious?
Emu? Emu.
I don't know if he's
Nope.
just trolling or what.
I have no idea. Emu?
I don't know
Okay,
how
I
you can
guess-
forget someone like him. That's the thing. Like that's what
I
I'm
guess
bewildered
once
about.
Thor catches up, we'll discuss it some more.
You're powered up.
Oh, it's gonna be a while
Uh,
before I catch up. I'm only on episode like 200 out of like 2,000.
By the way, why in the world are you watching the anime? Pick up that manga.
He's not going to.
Oh, dude, I need to, but like I'm lazy and I don't have time to read, so I just binge watch in my free time.
So
I mean-
you're gonna, so you're too lazy to read the book, but you're gonna read the subtitles on the screen.
Yes. Well, you see, that
Perfect
takes
sense to me.
less effort than getting invested in a book.
Wait, do you know how many
trust me.
pages are in the manga chapter? You know it's only like 20 pages per chapter, right?
Well, you see, that's no fun.
Just excuses after excuses. Bro.
I will agree with you that the early parts, the animation is on at so many levels. The music is pretty good, except for the times that they reuse Dragon Ball sound effects.
Yeah. I don't think he's gotten to that point yet. So far, the anime is all right. They're not reusing things yet.
But no, I regard the Arlong Park arc are all great in the anime. How do you feel about Inaru and what's his face, Crocodile as villains?
I think they were both pretty good villains, actually, personally. I mean, Crocodile was just Crocodile. I mean, he just wanted to build a super army. So his entire, like, plot and how, like, far he went to get that was really cool, in my opinion. Like, it really, I don't know, it just made his character very interesting to me. The fact that he, like, has been working at this for however long, you know, just to, like,
Years
take over
in
the
the
country.
making.
Right. And then Inaru, I felt was just a good villain for the same reason I wanted, or what I was talking about in Marvel. He was just a villain that was just evil because he knew he could be. Like,
Yeah,
old buddy
he's
just
an
didn't
asshole.
care. So I
Which is
personally
funny
really like
considering
that.
now. Remember the cover art they did of Crocodile recently, Darius? Good times.
That non-canon artwork that Oda did of him.
Was it non-canon?
Yeah.
Mm.
They're just like requests from readers. And he draws it.
Play of the game.
Although I'm glad that's his opinion of Crocodile so far, because Crocodile, of course, shows up again. Like, spoilers.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah. Thor already
I mean, that doesn't
knows.
surprise me at all.
Crocodile was freaking great. I thought Inaru was a step. He's not as good a villain as Crocodile, but he was neat.
Yeah.
Because Luffy was his natural enemy.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the Inaru arc just because, like, for a while there, you thought he was actually a god. You know? Like,
I
for the
remember
beginning
watching
of
that on
arc,
TV. I remember watching that arc on TV and him striking that person down from a mile away. And I was like, whoa. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, the first time, like, that laser beam came, I was like, oh shit, is Luffy really finna fight God, dog? Like, is this really finna happen? Is he really
This
finna
is
low diff
pretty
God?
early. This is pretty early to fight God.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, damn, they really just 0 to 100 real quick. Okay. But I mean, you know, yeah, I really liked him as a villain. I mean, he was powerful, he was smart, he had, you know, really good fighting skills. I mean, even the fact that, like, he was made out of lightning, Luffy still couldn't beat him at first. You know, so, like, I felt he was a really strong villain for early game stuff, you know? I mean, because, like, trust me,
Speaking of
I
which-
understand the fact that this show is so old. Like, the villains he's fighting right now are nothing compared to what the Straw Hats are going to fight in the future. I understand that completely. So,
Actually,
like,
well,
you know,
I mean, you can't argue. Like, current Luffy will probably mop up the floor with Inaru.
no.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Yes.
think
Really?
so.
Are you serious?
Because the thing about One Piece is the villains also go through their sort of like own training.
What is he
Arcs,
doing on the
sorta.
moon? What training arc does he have on the moon?
You know, he's like planning and shit. Like he could be planning how a million ways to beat Luffy.
Not only
Right?
that, but Luffy can, like, I mean, this isn't really a big spoiler, but, like, Luffy can, like, throw hands with him now. He can, like, actually hit him physically. And his speed is just ridiculous now. So, I mean... Not only that, but
Just
he's
like Frieza
naturally
can-
he's
just like Frieza
naturally
can
resistant to
train,
Inaru's
Inaru can
attacks
train.
anyway. Then, like, of course, you know, Gear 4th, Snake Man. I mean, you could argue that he wouldn't be able to hit Inaru in, like, his Gear 4th form at Bound Man, but I mean, even if that was the case, he could just go to Snake Man, and then like he's definitely. I mean, Inaru is getting tagged hard.
I think you are underestimating my boy Inaru. Okay. I'm sure with a little training, Inaru can get to near or Luffy's level.
Not only that, but Luffy can just avoid his attacks now.
You know,
You get yourself
one
easy.
thing. One thing I really liked about the first fight between, I think it might have been somebody else, but I think it was Inaru and Luffy, when Luffy did his airhead move and was able to like dodge all the attacks. I don't know. Oh wait, no, that was Bubble Boy, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
You mean when he like made himself stupid?
Yeah, and he just kind of like dodged all the attacks, off of like instinct or whatever.
A leaf in the wind.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, and I'd like to see. Yeah, I'd like it to get to the point where Luffy can just come in and out of that as he pleases. You know?
Well,
I mean, it does. Don't get me wrong. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Basically, okay. The way I look at One Piece is anything I can think that will happen probably will, and if it hasn't happened already, it'll happen eventually. You know?
honestly, that's why I'm
way of
surprised you
looking at it.
didn't guess like the Admiral's Devil Fruits. I really thought you was going to nail those immediately.
I mean, you know, I don't know what to guess. I don't even know where to begin on guessing stuff.
Yeah, trust me.
It's
Well,
just kind of like
you'll
while
see.
I'm watching the show, it's like, oh, I wonder if that'll happen at some point. You know, while like something stupid happens, and I'm like, oh, you know, it'd be cool if like this and this happened later on, and then
Widowmaker.
it does happen, and I'm like, huh, well, yeah, I saw that coming.
Well, I'm thinking
You know?
that we're doing like after like every arc, we like do a podcast where you tell us your feelings on One Piece so far, and we'll like discuss it about how we felt like the first time we watched through it too.
Okay, yeah. Currently, while I'm in the Davy Back fight, I can tell you right now, I really hate it because it's really stupid. You know,
it really is.
like
This, you will appreciate it down the road when you reach the rest.
I mean, it's just like here's the thing.
not
I
really.
know that I know that the Straw Hats could easily just kill the entirety of the Foxy Pirates or whatever. Like they could low diff them. I know that for a fact. But because they're stuck in this stupid Davy Back fight, and like you have to keep your pirate reputation or whatever, they won't. And like I understand the principle, but I still think it's stupid.
It's laying down important seeds that will grow into beautiful flowers later.
Ah, okay, I got you.
Not really.
Yep.
Also, since I have you here, Thor, I just want you to know, Thor thinks that Shanks is really weak.
What? Okay, look,
Um,
you've talked him
The
up enough for
dude
me to know he's all
did lose an
powerful.
arm in the first episode.
Oh, see, this is why I hate him.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
He is
I
bar
mean,
none
like,
one of the
yeah.
strongest characters in One Piece. Bar none.
Yeah, I
No.
mean, I figured that
No,
out.
he's not.
Yeah,
No, he's
Yes, he is.
not. That is not true, Thor. I do not believe him.
What the? What? This dude's a troll.
Whoa,
I can't
what,
believe
did
this
you say
dude.
he's
He
strongest
clashed
or
with
one
two
of these
Yonkos
strongest?
already.
You say strongest or one of these strongest?
I said one of the strongest.
Maybe. We
Who do you even
we
see
really don't know.
aside from like Emu, or not even Garp? Like,
Oh,
there's not many
Ipu!
people.
Moderate guy, yeah. That's who you meant. I got you now.
If you're trying to correct the way I'm saying words, I'm gonna punch you in the teeth.
I had no idea who he was before now.
Hmm.
He's only showed up once, so I mean, come on. I'm supposed to remember one person.
A
Anyway,
character
go ahead.
reveals like that was as like grand as his. Yeah, you're supposed to remember that.
So much has happened since then. It's been like a year. Shanks, Blackbeard, the guys. Yeah. Oh, did you see Blackbeard yet, Thor?
Yeah, he said that he thought that Blackbeard was going to join the Straw Hat crew.
not a bad kid. Not a bad kid.
Yeah.
But he did make a hell of an impression.
Yeah.
I mean, look, here's the thing, right? Whenever I first saw him, when they were on the pirate island or whatever, and he like, you know, whenever he first talked to Luffy and they were fighting over pies and meat or whatever, I was like, oh, okay, well, this character's getting more screen time than most of these other B-list characters, so obviously he's important. And then all of a sudden, he was giving Luffy encouragement, and I was like, oh, okay, so this guy's important. And then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a second, this guy's Blackbeard, isn't he? And then later, as they're traveling up the water spout, or the explosion to get to the Sky Island, and he showed up and was like, we're the Blackbeard Pirates. I was like, oh, yeah, called it. Okay, so he's going to be a big deal later on.
Maybe. We'll never.
So-
We don't know yet.
Is there a game all three of us can play?
He's not
A game
actually
that's
on
free?
the Xbox. He's on his phone
Dude.
using the Xbox app.
If
Oh,
you
okay.
have a wait, you don't have a PS4, do you?
Nah, I need to get one.
Weak. PS4 Master Race.
No, it's garbage. It's trash. It's terrible. Everything
We
about
have
it,
God
from
of
its
War.
menus to its
We have
music
God of War.
to its
John.
controllers,
God of War.
from its controllers, which are like piss poor and awful. Actually, those are the only three complaints I think. Everything else is better on Xbox One.
But yeah, you need to get PS4 Thor just to play God of War 2 when Kratos whips Thor's ass.
Yeah, I really want to play God of War. I'm not gonna lie. I really hate exclusives. I think it's one of the dumbest things ever. Like, I get it. Companies need a reason for you to buy their console.
Yep.
But, like, come on, man. Come on. I don't want to have to buy, like, a $400 console just to play your game. You
No
know?
one does. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up on PlayStation. Don't get me wrong. That was one of the first consoles I played. I had the original PlayStation, you know, the original Nintendo 64, and then the original Xbox. So, like, I've played them all. And I prefer Xbox, but that's mostly because I grew up on Halo. So, you know, there's that. And that's kind of the only reason we still continue to use Xboxes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
Really? Even after all the changes the Halo franchise has gone through?
oh no, I hate the new Halo. I hate it. Halo Reach was the last good Halo, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan of Halo 4, and I really hate Halo 5. I mean, I despise Halo 5. It is the worst game I've ever played because they destroyed the franchise I grew up on. They changed really everything with it. And I mean, they've gone back through and fucked with all the other Halos. I don't know if you have played the Master Chief Collection or anything, but they're completely different games
Unfortunately,
now.
I could not.
No, they're completely different games. Because, like, okay, Halo 5 had a huge issue with spawns. I call it the Halo 5 spawn issue, where essentially 343
Catchy.
felt that the game needed to be more like Call of Duty. So they changed it up to where you were always in the action, meaning you're always going to spawn near enemies. Always. Whether it's behind them, in front of them, or 5 feet away from them, you're always going to be close to an enemy. So if you're playing the game mode that I love to play, which is SWAT, you know, that's headshots only, it's pretty much impossible. Once you start losing, you're guaranteed to lose the match. So, you know, playing back through Halo Reach, they've done the same thing. Six has played it with me. He knows what I'm talking about. He can, you know, vouch for me. They've done it, you know, in Halo 4 it became an issue. In the Master Chief Collection, in every game, it's an issue. I don't know what they did to the algorithm, but they applied it to every game, and it's fucked it up.
Yeah.
You know, because
Honestly,
on Halo 5,
one
it
of the
kind
other
of worked
podcasts
because
that
of the
we're
way-
probably going to do is that we're going to probably talk about the Halo franchise and how it's going. Actually, why didn't we? Oh my god, that's a super good idea. We should do a podcast on this. Oh damn, Thor, you're gonna probably have to say spend time with Jordan tomorrow. But like, what I was thinking is that we could do a podcast on the Halo series in general and explaining why we dislike it. And then, like when Halo Infinity, which is going to be announced at E3, when it comes out, then we can like talk about what we anticipate from the new Halo and how we think it can improve upon itself.
Oh yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah, 100%.
I'm definitely going to have to just play devil's advocate there because I know very little about Halo.
That's
Which is
fine.
weird.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure me and Six
I mean,
have more than
I
enough
was-
complaints.
Look, when I was a kid, I was a little pussy. I could not play Dead Space. I could not get past. I played a little bit of Halo 3, but when I get to the zombies, the flood, I was like, no, sir, I'm done. I'm still sort of like that. Like, you could not get me to play Outlast without money involved. So.
Oh, dude, I played a little bit of Outlast on stream. That was interesting.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, we
That
need
was
to like
really
actually do
interesting.
that again. Darius told me that he was
Yeah.
down for like, for instance, you playing the horror game and me and him like just commentating, like whispering in your ear, like you're gonna die, stuff like that.
Oh, dude, that game was so scary. I remember the first like big jump scare. I legitimately went, "Oh shit!"
Just
Screamed
do
like a
not
little
play
bitch.
Outlast 2. That is not good.
I heard it was bad. I heard it was real bad.
Very. The rumors are true. I can confirm.
Ugh. Oh god.
Like it's a shitty game, or it's like a really like horrible and will give you nightmares.
Instead of being stuck in a hospital with crazy maniacs, you're stuck in the forest with crazy maniacs. The
Yeah,
environment does not lend itself well to the formula.
Yeah, I think I watched some gameplay. I don't think I watched all of the game, but like I skipped around a good bit. And I know it ends up being something about like a religious cult or something, and then like
Yes.
your wife gives birth to the Antichrist.
Maybe it was all just
Yeah.
a hallucination.
Yeah, that was the other part. They made it like did this happen or did it not? Ooh, like you can't do that. You don't
Yeah,
do
like
that
what
to
does
me.
it matter to us? We don't care. It'd be different if this happened in something like Rick and Morty. Like, did Rick actually have like a wife that like something bad happened to him and he became a scientist because of it? Who knows? Woo.
Yes, it has to be a character we care about to like
Right,
do that kind of thing.
right. And then they like sent you back into like the school or whatever a lot. I know that was a thing, and it was like a girl hung herself because she got raped by a priest or something. I don't know.
Which of course.
I don't
It
know.
was unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot of. They tried to feed off of the first Outlast, and they really should have just done something different.
A good idea
Yeah.
I
for
do
a new horror
recommend
game
the
is just
Whistleblower
like
DLC.
Really?
Yes. Some people would say that it's as good as the first or better.
Damn, okay.
what I was about to say is like what would make for a good horror game is kind of touching upon like a poor turn of phrase there, kind of like hinting on what you guys like said before about the priest. Like they could just make a horror game about just being kidnapped by like Catholics or something, or like what's like actually being in the Holy Land, the Vaticans, and all that type of stuff. Because you know they do some really horrible shit there. It'd be a highly debated topic, and like everyone would be talking about the game because they would actually bring to light
Your
how
game would never.
all
get
Catholics
released
are
because the
pedophiles.
Catholic Church
all Catholics
would
are
ban it.
pedophiles.
Good times.
Good luck-
Controversy
good luck
on
trying
stream.
to release that game. But before we go off into games, I have to say, before we get off the One Piece topic, Thor, if you like One Piece and good animation, you gotta watch the movies. They're little stories with non-canon devil fruits
Oh,
with
cool.
great animation. Yep.
So,
I highly
wait, are
There's
the...
like 3 movies that take place within the first 200 episodes, at least 1 to 2.
Oh, okay. So I should watch the movies, like, soon.
Oh yeah, I mean, when
You don't have to, but
whenever
it
you
would
feel
be
like.
good because you can watch them in order, and you don't want to like watch the first movie after like Luffy gained all his powers and everything. It's like, this is boring. You don't want to like get into that. mindset.
Okay. Okay, so they're like mini storyline. They're like subplots.
Yes. You don't want to
Okay.
call them like well-budgeted filler.
Okay,
Like,
I got you.
it gets better and better with some of the villains. Darius doesn't like this, but one of the villains that's coming up in the newest movie is actually a former crewmate of Goldie Roger.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's
so he's
just
OP
you
off the
don't
bat.
bring characters like that into a movie. They're like not going to be very important in the story.
No, wait. The whole thing, that same line of reasoning was happening when they introduced Shiki the lion.
Yes, and what ended up coming from that? Nothing.
I mean, we could possibly still like hear about him. I mean, he's still technically canon. They did bring him up in the context of the story.
But he's not gonna show up in any significant way.
Well,
The only
you know
way
we're
that the
gonna
movie
get
could
some
matter
flashbacks,
is if they
bro.
do the Dragon Ball route of maybe including the character in future stuff, like Beerus or Frieza or Broly.
Bro, you know there's gonna be a flashback. Like, don't even front. We're gonna see
Flashbacks
Rayleigh
are
and
important,
Roger
though.
in their youth, in their heyday, in their prime.
Oh, you mean in the movie? I guess that's cool, but does it really? I guess.
I want to see Shocky in her prime. That's another waifu. Fuck MILFs, GILFs. That's what I'm talking about. No, like, you know how One Piece is, Thor. Like, people who are like over like 50 or 60 years old, like, they either age like grotesquely or just not at all. Like, they still look like they're 20 years old.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
got a
who
point.
Shocky is. She's like 60 years old, but she looks like she could be like 25. She's mwah. And apparently she's like, people speculate she's on the level of Silver's Rayleigh, which, or at least
What?
she's still really strong.
No,
Damn.
that would be weird.
Why
What
do
does
you
she
think
do
she
to
wouldn't be?
train? Make drinks?
Why do you think? No, but, like, it's very obvious that she used to be a pirate herself.
Yes, doesn't mean she was a good one.
How are you not going to be a good pirate and know the goal, like the Roger crew? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Buggy. Shit. I'm sorry, Thor.
You fucker.
Oh, I
Sorry,
wasn't
sorry.
paying attention at all.
Oh
Okay,
my
cool.
goodness.
Like legit, I was reading through stuff on my phone.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Because
But,
that's gonna
I
be like a
think I
great
proved my
reveal.
point.
I'm so glad he didn't ruin that for you, just because it's gonna be so fucking funny.
Yeah, it's a good thing I zone out a lot.
Yeah. It's a good
But-
thing I never listen to you guys.
But to get back to horror games, I think the perfect horror game would need the elements of the past perfect horror games. Resident Evil had claustrophobic areas. Dead Space was claustrophobic. You need claustrophobia. You need to feel like you're trapped.
Attack
Mhm.
commences in 30
You need a character that's not super strong. You need an average person.
And I think another big part of it is that, like, whenever you have a horror game, you have to build suspense in a way that, like, actually matters. You know, you don't want, like, I think Outlast built suspense really well, you know, and it builds into the claustrophobia part. You go into a room, it's dark, it's eerie, you can hear stuff moving around you. Because sound is a really important part of horror
Very.
games, too, you know?
Very.
Like,
Yeah.
especially for people who are serious about playing video games, you know, you kind of have to have sound. I mean, it's like Six, watch behind you. It's just like any good horror movie, you know. I think that, like, what was that movie called? Fuck, what was it? Don't speak.
Don't Starve?
No.
Get out. Us.
No. Fuck. It
Saw.
had the guy who plays Jim from The Office.
Ah,
He directed it.
Shit.
You
time
couldn't.
period?
They couldn't talk because I mean it was relatively
Oh yeah,
recent.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. A quiet place.
Yeah, A Quiet Place. What made that movie so good was that sound was super important. You know, that was one of those movies where everybody in the theater was completely silent at all times. Because there was just so much suspense. You know?
I think
And I
more
feel like-
important than even sound is atmosphere, but.
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Outlast was definitely one of the better horror games we've had in a while. You know?
Very much, very much.
So, yeah, I'd like to see more horror games like that. You know, a game where you are literally helpless. You know, I mean, like, okay, in Dead Space you could fight back. In Resident Evil, you could fight back. in Outlast, the most you can do is run.
Yep.
And pray you get away.
And I feel like that's a very like, you know, I mean that's a very real thing, you know. In real life, you're not going to be a superhero that can just power through anything. You know, like you're gonna have to run. You know, if you can
that
identify.
could only. Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's something that could only be done in Outlast, having like no way to fight back against the enemies, because the enemies are for the most part just regular jacked up people who exercise a lot, presumably. You
Right.
can't maintain like an hour-long game with that formula, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. Outlast was good. You know, it was short. The enemies were spooky as all hell. They had no real motive other than the fact that they just wanted to kill. That's all it really
Yeah.
They're
was.
psychopaths.
You
That's
know?
a real horror. They're just really fucked up in the head.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get much scarier than someone who just wants to kill you because they can. You know?
No reason.
Right. It's just like they just want you dead.
And the reason
And
why
then
that's so
the
scary
fact that-
because it proves they have like no humanity. You can't reason with it. There's nothing that you can do. It's hopeless.
Right. And then, you know, if you add to the fact that like the thing, like the horror element, the fact that what makes these villains scary is part of the fact that they're not human. They're not, you know, like there's something wrong with them, and they're not entirely human. In Dead Space, it was the aliens that were essentially just zombies. You know, in Outlast, it was like these weird, possessed, angry people. Like I don't even know what the fuck they were. You know, like there's stuff like that. It just doesn't get much scarier than than a demon.
The
trying to kill you.
unexplained, you know?
Right.
A fear of something that
Like,
you
if
cannot
you-
like really understand or reason with.
Right. So like you add atmosphere, you add sound, you add the fact that you don't really know what's chasing after you. You just know that they want you dead. And then to top it off, like it's just not human and you're helpless. Like what do you do in that scenario? You just run for your life. That's all you can do. And then you know,
are
you gotta
right.
build story.
You are right in that horror is making a comeback. Horror games, maybe, but definitely horror movies.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of horror movies recently have just kind of been repeats of previous stuff, but like A Quiet Place did something no one else has done yet.
Bird Box.
Yeah, I don't know. Bird Box was all right. I wasn't a huge fan of Bird Box.
Yeah, me neither, but I like the concept. Execution, not
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
I think
I
the
mean,
best. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I think one of the best horror endings of all time was The Mist. Did you see that movie? Stephen King novel?
I don't think I saw that. No.
Okay. Never mind then. Well, okay.
I mean, I'm
again,
probably not gonna watch it. You can
I
tell
just
me.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
So this town is beset by monsters hiding in a mist, and the whole setting is a shopping center where people, small group of survivors hide out. At the end, a lot of them die. The son and his dad and the son are hiding in the car. They have a gun. The dad doesn't want his son to die to the monsters because the mist is coming, right? So he kills his son. Boosh.
Ooh.
Gets out of the car. He's about to shoot himself. And we see, coming out of this, the U.S. military. They saved the day. Yay!
Ooh.
Oh, wait. Right. That is some scary
Ooh.
shit.
See, that right there, because like, that's a psychological thing. You know, I personally
Yeah.
love psychological horrors, where it's like, I guess not psychological, just one of those things where it's like, you made a choice, and it was the wrong one.
Yeah.
And to put that in the ending of a
Hindsight's
horror
20/20.
movie, you know, I think that's just, I think it's great, personally.
Yeah. Cloverfield was nice.
Yeah, Cloverfield was good.
I didn't see the Cloverfield sequel. Cloverfield, well, it's technically not a sequel, but it has a Cloverfield name in it. It was John
Right.
Goodman. I really didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see Cloverfield Lane. I heard it was pretty good though. I heard it was pretty good.
I saw Overlord on the plane.
Mm.
Overlord was about this like World War II group that landed in Germany, and they basically stumbled upon some German people doing fucked up experiments on people.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah, that
not
was
surprised
when
you didn't
they
hear
were
of it.
vampires or whatever, right?
They were like undying super soldiers,
Yeah.
and of course,
did you ever-
Jordan Peele. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Of course, Jordan Peele has like made his name for himself as the horror guy with
Right.
Get Out and others.
Did you ever see the Cloverfield Paradox?
The Netflix movie?
I think yeah.
I saw the review of it. Not
It
so
was
good.
it was all right. You know, I watched it whenever it came out. It was cool. I don't really think it was much of a horror movie, although I'm pretty sure that's what it was branded as. But you know, it was
I
what
heard
it
that
was.
it got the Cloverfield title just attached to it because like to attract an audience.
I mean, it explained like how the Cloverfield monster got to Earth because they opened up like a wormhole or something. I mean, it was a paradox. Like the entire movie was based around this paradox that these astronauts created by accident. And that's how the Cloverfield monster got into the planet. It got sent back in time. And you find out that there was actually a lot of them. And the one that was actually attacking Earth in the movie, Cloverfield, was actually a baby.
Hate to see an adult.
Exactly. So like there was that. It was all right though. You know, I probably wouldn't watch it a second time, but the first watch was pretty interesting. You know, I'd recommend it if you're bored.
Okay.
That's about it though.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Let's see. What was the other movie? You mentioned Get Out. What was the other movie that he just recently put out?
But I haven't seen
Yeah.
Us yet.
It was all right. It had like an M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end that was actually
I'm
really
sure it
interesting. And I feel like, you know, the movie was good, but it definitely wasn't a horror movie. It was more of a thriller.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'd recommend that one too. Like, the acting was super good. The characters were super good. It was a fun movie. You know, they did a lot of... It wasn't the typical, like, you know, spooky building, white people walk in and die. It was like, you know, they actually did what you would do in a real life scenario. Because, you know, like, the whole plot of it was, you know, there's like
Doppelganger trying to
copycats
kill
or
you.
whatever. Right.
Yep.
So, like, instead of, you know, in a real life, or in a shitty horror movie, it would have been like, oh my god, I don't know if you're my mom or not. Oh no, what do I do? And then they die. It was, oh shit, hell nah, you're dead anyways. You know? Like,
That's the scariest
It's one
thing
of those
ever.
that-
Like
Blooded.
for a horror movie to have a character that does everything right and they still like die. That's a horrifying
Right,
realization.
That's what makes horror movies good. When characters are
Yeah.
smart and they still suffer consequences.
Right. Right. So I mean, like, it is pretty good on that part, you know. And like the end of the movie did not end the way you think it would, whatsoever. There's a
I'm
it's just
predicting
crazy.
they think they killed them all, but it turns out one of the doppelgangers is hiding among them. Is hiding is hiding within their group. The normal.
It's actually worse.
Oh god.
I'm gonna see if I can watch that movie right now. I'm excited.
It's good. You know, like the characters are super solid, and like here's the thing: if you go through it a second time and you watch, you're like, holy shit, how did I not see that in the beginning?
Ah, it's one of those movies. I love them.
Yeah. Whenever you watch it, we'll have to talk about it because it's good, man. It's good. He's definitely making moves in movies. He deserves to get the awards that he got. Don't get me wrong. I feel like the movie was definitely overhyped. You know,
Yeah.
but it was still good. You know, like
Yes.
it's well worth the watch.
I feel that way all the time about games.
Yeah, I don't know what it is here lately. It's like games and movies. They over advertise, and they get you super hyped for it, and then you like play it or you watch it, and you're like,
It's okay.
Yeah. You know, I think A Quiet Place was one of the first movies that I didn't have that issue with.
It's definitely best to just go into something blind and experience it for yourself.
Right. A Quiet Place was one of the best horror movies I've seen really ever. It's in my top like 3.
Really? So
Yeah.
even the little dumb things that happen don't bother you?
Oh, don't get me wrong, they bother me, but it's still like, yeah, I mean, it's still one of the better horror movies.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
you know, I I love horror movies. I love the horror genre, but it's hard to find a movie that legitimately like gets to me. The only thing that really bothers me from like a horror context is body dysmorphia. That's really it. Like if somebody
Oh.
comes crawling on like all fours and they're like contorted, like you can hear their like bones snapping and cracking as they walk, that's the kind of shit that gets to me. But that's it, really. That's really it. Like, if, you know, gore doesn't bother me, like, at all. I mean, I watched, what was it called? Green Mile? No, that's not it. There's a horror movie that came out a while ago about, like, a group of activists that crash land on an island, and,
Interstellar.
no, it's, no, I know it was a horror movie. It was Green Inferno. That's what it was called. Green Inferno.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, it was kind of a low-key underground, bit of a cult classic kind of movie. Basically, these activists crash land on an island, and the people that they crash land, or like the island people, are cannibals. They're like a tribe of super crazy cannibals. So the entire movie is just gore. So like you see this dude get his toe bit off, like you see people get cut open and like gutted, like while they're alive, like they're screaming, like they're doing everything in their power to live, but like they're helpless. They can't do anything. You see this one girl get fucked by a knife. You can put it to you that way.
That is messed up.
And like she's tied down, like there's nothing she can do. And like her friends, her boyfriend, like everybody just has to watch. She can't do anything at all.
Oh, Nightmare Fuel, cool.
Yeah. It's a pretty crazy movie, man.
The feeling of helplessness is the one thing that legit terrifies me that I can't get over. Like the thought of like not being able to resist or fight back or like defend yourself at all. That's a nightmare to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
It would
you know,
be.
it's and like the movie isn't really a horror movie. It's really
Sounds
just to
pretty
show
horrific
off
to me.
gore. I mean, gore doesn't bother me. You know, I've seen videos of people getting their heads cut off. That stuff doesn't like affect me whatsoever. So, like, you know, it's not a horror movie. I mean, I laughed at parts of it because my girlfriend does SFX stuff. So, like, there were moments when it was pretty obvious that like that stuff was really poorly done. But I mean, you know, for what it was decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, before I move on to something that Six can actually talk about with us, how do you feel about The Thing? The original
what do you
Thing,
mean?
not the reboot. The Thing, John Carpenter, scientist in Antarctica, alien comes and like takes over their bodies.
I'm trying to think. Have I seen that?
Classic horror film. Up there with The Fly, I guess, around that time.
Oh, I
Like
know what you're talking
70s?
about. God, last time I watched that, I was like 6 or 7, dude. I barely remember the plot of the movie.
I thought that was yet another example of a great movie. Isolation and that ending where you don't know if the alien's still alive or not. Perfect.
Oh yeah. See, I love horror movies that make you question,
That make you
like
think.
how
'Cause
things
there's
ended.
always
Yeah.
it's settled. You don't know if it's really resolved.
Right.
Slashers.
I'm not a huge fan of slashers. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love like old school horror movies, like
Can't go wrong.
Friday the
Jason.
13th, right? Freddy, the
Leprechaun.
Halloween movies. Yeah, the Leprechaun, like those movies, like they're fun to watch, but like I've never felt any like I've never been scared of those movies. Like I
They're
watched,
just so
the
cheesy
original.
now.
Right, like I've watched Friday the 13th. I've watched really all of them, and it's just like, I can understand how they were scary back in like the 70s and 80s when they were made, because people weren't really doing gore in movies back then, and that's really the only reason they're popular is because when they came out, nobody was doing that. So, those generations will always fear those movies, but that shit doesn't bother me. I mean,
I
they're fun to
disagree.
watch, and that's
Like,
about it.
I just vividly remember me being afraid of Chucky because I didn't want to stay at home while my mom would do the thing because I was afraid that Chucky would get me. So I don't think it was a gore necessarily. It was just the thought that these things felt real to child me.
Right. I can understand
Of course,
that.
now I have no problem watching horror movies. Whatever.
Right. I mean, as a kid, I think the only movie I ever saw that like really fucked me up for a little while was when I was like 4, and I watched this movie called Piranhas. And like the entire movie was about these kids that were like out in the bayou, like spending a week out there fishing or something. Stu, I don't remember all the plot points, but essentially piranhas were just tearing them apart, and that was the first like gory movie I ever saw. I was scared to take a shit because I was scared a piranha would come out and eat my asshole. Let me put it to you that way. I mean, like, that's like,
So was that the awakening of
closest-
your fetishes, or?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah. I'm trying to think of a horror movie that's ever like legitimately like made me afraid.
Jaws.
I never saw Jaws. It never interested me. I mean, I got the basic plot points. It's a gigantic shark that's eating people on the beach.
I mean, when I was
that.
a child, everything scared me, man. I was like a mangina. I was the biggest bitch in the world, on the globe. It was ridiculous. I was scared of The Grudge. Like, I was scared of fucking everything.
That's a good movie to be scared of.
Kind of.
Yeah, The
I
Grudge
don't-
was creepy. The Grudge was creepy. I don't think I was ever like scared, but it creeped me out.
No, I was like pissing my pants scared. Like, I was legit afraid to even go in my room at night. There were so many. Then again, like back in the early 2000s, everything was fucking creepy. Every fucking
Yeah.
creator of a show in the 1990s just made. They always had that one episode that disturbed the shit out of you. Like every single time. Like there were like even like superhero like shows. There was like Teen Titans. There was always at least one creepy episode of a show that like made you afraid to go to sleep at night. Like all the people who made the kids television shows were just assholes.
The thing is, I actually had a little bit of an insider's knowledge on that. Creator of a show that did like scare people a lot was like, we didn't think this would scare kids. Right? It's only after the fact they realized, oh, that was a little scary.
I remember, what was it? That Teen Titans movie they did where they had to fight the
Ink Monster.
shapeshifter.
Rashomon. Or something.
What was that movie called?
The Teen Titans.
He like, yeah, that dude, like, as a kid, he freaked me out just because he was a gigantic goop monster.
Oh yeah, that was one of the ones I was thinking of actually. Yeah, he scared the shit out
Yeah.
of me. And plus the fact that he
Yeah,
couldn't
but I
control
mean-
it and he kept morphing into him like irrational. That's one of the that fucked me up. There was a lot of
Yeah.
episodes. A lot of episodes that focused on Raven were both like they were like my favorite episodes now, but as a kid they always like scared the shit out of me. Like almost every single one.
Oh yeah. To be fair,
I felt
Raven is a
nothing for,
scary ass character.
Yeah,
Ink Monster, dude.
especially when she went out of
But
control in
also
the
the
comics. Oh yeah, Barney, you can't go wrong with a goth chick. You just can't.
I mean, I feel like she's what awakened everybody's big titty goth bitch fetish, you know?
Yeah.
I think that honor goes mostly to
I
what's her
think
name? Elvira.
I think legit Raven was one of the first characters that I ever like legit jacked off to as a kid, like straight up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
can
mean,
agree
everyone
with
else
that.
they make my weeby stand up, but like at the time, like I don't know why, but like one night I just had like a wet dream about her, and then I just kept having more, and then eventually I just started jerking off. So,
I did not think that much about Raven.
oh, I
As a
did.
kid.
I obsessed. She a bad bitch. She a bad bitch.
I just wasted my ult. Oh.
Overwatch
God, yeah.
player.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a legit like scary, because you know horror movies nowadays focus on really just jump scares. You know, I mean,
No.
Really?
Recently, that hasn't been the case. I mean, we just talked about Quiet Place, Bird Box,
that's true.
Get Out, Us.
That's true. I'm thinking of like the horror movies that came out in like
Insidious,
2005.
Paranormal
Yeah, like
Activity.
those. Yeah, those were mostly like jump scares to me. You know. Oh yeah, I just recently watched The Nun. That came out. That was actually a pretty creepy horror movie. It had good suspense. I don't think it.
Nuns aren't scary.
Well, if you remember,
If anything, they're
in
sexy.
The Insidious
Oh, it's-
movies, all of those kind of followed this like nun character, who was like a demon that was trying to get into the medium's head or whatever. So they finally did a backstory on her, and like, you know, I mean, nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I guess
But,
it's
I mean,
neat. They're doing a whole Connect Universe thing by doing movies about the dogs
Yeah,
and the backstories.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. They're doing some weird shit with that franchise, and I can't say I really agree with it. You know, horror movies are not supposed to, like, unless you're doing a slasher film, horror movies don't really do that. I mean, you're dealing with ghosts. That's just supposed to be the appeal. Spooky ghosts. You know? Like,
And the
I don't...
people usually don't survive long enough to come back for future movies.
Right. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Insidious franchise just kind of sucks, in my opinion. I don't really bother with it.
Me neither. Overwatch. How far in the ranks? How high is the rank?
I think I just hit level 100, but my rank in comp is... I think right now I'm a gold, but me and Six hit a pretty bad losing streak not too long ago. Just because we kept getting paired with really shitty teammates. Me and him both are easily, like, plat players.
Which, by the way,
It's just our
isn't
teammates can
demonstrated in
never
this
support
stream.
us.
Right now, people who are watching this stream, we're just fucking around. This isn't like our plat play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, if we were playing ranked, we'd be getting 30 kills a game.
Yeah, legit, that's our
mean-
average. Mine's like 24.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we usually do somewhere in between 20 and 30 kills with anywhere from 3 to 5 deaths a game. I mean, it's just our teammates can't keep up with us, so we end up losing.
I'm usually stuck in a plat. I can never get past like 3,500.
Yeah.
Just for some reason, I seem to hit a losing streak right when I get near.
Yeah, every time me and Six play like 3 or 4 games in a row and we win, we just go on like a 10 match losing streak because the game's like, no, you're too good. We're gonna dick on you. So
Who is your favorite
Six.
characters to play as?
Yeah, I hate this maze so much.
I generally play as Orisa, Bridget, or who's my other main? Reinhardt. Those are my three. But I can switch into most characters. So
Hate playing as Orisa because my team generally does not like play around the shield, so I generally go
Yeah.
for Reinhardt.
yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I do a pretty good Orisa. I think I've got something like 16 hours with her. So, I mean, when I play as her, it's other teams fucked. She's my main all across the board. And then me and Six have a pretty good combo where he'll play Zarya and I'll play Bridget. And if we can get a Lucio in there, I'm invincible. I mean, they can't touch me. So that's usually our go-to combo. And then Six can play just about every character in the game.
Not Genji.
Right now, I switch
well-
between. Okay, number one is like my Bridget all around. She's like my main character. Then there's Zarya,
Yeah.
who I use to like just defend everybody. She's on the tier of Bridget. She's fighting for the first place. She's like right on the verge. But normally I prefer like Bridget, although I do still love like Zarya a lot. I play Ana now. I've just been training with her. I play Hanzo. I'm not the best, but he is someone who I can like bring out. Now Soldier is he's such an easy character. How can you not go on like a 10-player kill streak with him? He's so easy. And Pharah sometimes I can bring out Pharah. Oh, and Lucio. Pharah and Lucio were like my original mains who I like kind of like, I don't know, I like supersede. I left them behind to get to like go to new pastures, but I can still go back to them like I never left and still whoop ass with them.
Yeah.
In comp,
Yeah.
I generally just very much avoid DPS because I don't want to be the guy that the team blames when it all goes wrong.
Oh no, they'll do that
So I generally
regardless.
stick with tank or support.
I
No,
normally
I usually do fine.
we normally stick with like tanks and healers, like me, Thor, and like another guy we roll with named Chris. We normally stick to like healers and tanks, mostly because we're usually the ones who have to baby the team. And if we don't pick the healers and tanks, no one else will. Even in comp, they'll go like full DPS. It's absurd. It's like a joke.
Yeah.
It's a parody. They do it like
Yeah.
match after match after match. And every single time. Tracer, Widowmaker, Hanzo, McCree, every fucking time, no matter what.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10 when me and Six play comp, I'm the only healer and he's the only tank. Or
Yep.
vice versa.
Yep.
Because like everybody else just plays DPS and you know, it's just stupid. We we played the what I like to call the God comp a while back with a group of my buddies I used to
Oh,
play
yeah.
with before they all moved to PC. If you do an all healer team, you won't lose. Just so you know. You just
On
won't.
It's the
PC?
actual meta.
No, I just like in comp. If you do an all healer meta, like this was back before Baptiste, Bridget, and I think Ana. Yeah, back before Ana. So we had somebody playing, I think, Soldier for his healing. We had somebody playing Moira. I played Zenyatta. I think Six played Lucio. We had somebody playing Mercy. And then I think we had one tank maybe. I don't know.
No, we had all healers.
Just-
Never stop fighting.
Oh, yeah.
what you believe.
I guess you can do, yeah, because there's what, 6?
Yeah. We literally had
Huh.
all the starter healers, like every single one. We had all the healers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like anytime one of us would take damage, we record this. We actually streamed this as well, and I still need to edit it. But one of the lines that I still remember is that one of us called out to be healed, and by the time all of us like turned around, he was already fully healed. Like there was so much AOE healing. The moment he took damage, he was already healed.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can't die. Especially because, like, okay, Battle Mercy, you know, if you just get rid of her, like, stick, she puts out a surprising amount of DPS.
if you go for shots, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, yeah. Oh fuck, that's a May. Oh, I should have played Symmetra.
I guarantee
But-
not stand up to people who are
Stand up to people who are what?
really good at DPS. Because they're smart enough to know to focus on one person and the whole thing falls apart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I tried to tell like everyone else. It's like to just focus on one dude, aim for like the squishies, take them out because like they're glass cannons. They may be like really weak and easy to take out, but they can do a lot of damage. Take them out before they can take you out.
It's logical, but it's a lot harder than it, and it's a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
The skills are annoying little
Cunts. The word you're looking for is
Yes.
cunt.
I'm on fire. Might have used too much lead.
I love Roadhog. That's why I absolutely hate it when someone picks shield tank. Cause I mean, I hate it when people pick non-shield tank, because then I have to do shield tank. Like
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's another big
I
thing
love
about
that.
Overwatch, having to like suck it up and like trade your favorite characters for the betterment of the team, because you know unless you do it, no one else will. Like you really have to be selfless when you play Overwatch sometimes, because some people are just asses and don't know how to like operate. Oh god. Yes. In the team-based game.
there's no INT.
Apparently it is if you play Overwatch.
Teamy.
Oh, what the fuck?
Tim. The word you're looking for is Tim.
So, for whatever reason, 6 doesn't like Apex Legends, but I love it. Your thoughts, Thor?
It's all right. I mean, I'm kind of tired of the the whole battle royale thing. It's overplayed at this point.
Disagree heavily. More Battle Royale forever.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're fun and all, but like I just get bored so quickly of them. Because I mean, like, if your squad sucks, you're just kind of fucked. You
The
know?
good thing about Battle Royale is that you could just, none of it matters. You can just quit and start over again.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that's both to like the betterment and to the detriment of the game, because if nothing matters, why even play?
Because as we get older and older with more things to do and less free time, it's nice to have something to just kill time and not have to like put investment into.
I can understand your
Okay.
reasoning, but I don't agree with the mindset.
Yeah.
Objective lost.
Well,
I
when
mean,
we're trying to hold down a full-time job, you don't really have time to go on hour-long JRPG quests in one sitting, right?
I did.
What JRPG do you play?
You said JRPG? No, I play RPG. I play
Yeah.
Dragon Age a lot.
Ooh. Origins?
Yeah, of course. The best.
Okay. Good.
All the other Dragon Age are just, it's weird. They're like failed imitations of themselves.
I hope they announce a new one at E3.
I don't know, man. I don't have that much hope in BioWare. If they do make another Dragon Age, it's probably suck ass. But you know they already are in the midst of doing that, though, right?
A sequel to Inquisition?
Yeah.
I've heard the rumors, but nothing's confirmed yet.
Come on, man. It's an EA franchise. You know there's going to be sequels for
Not
eons.
necessarily. Not necessarily. Mass Effect Andromeda got shut down.
Yeah, because it was that shit. It was that bad.
So I
wait,
just-
Mass Effect Andromeda got shut down?
Like, they were planned DLCs, but they, like, got canceled.
Damn, that's
And-
rough.
And then there's a whole Anthem thing that happened.
Oh man, wow. The Anthem was so
Yeah, what
fucking
happened
bad.
with Anthem? I knew it tanked, but I didn't
It's
know
like
how
almost
bad.
Fallout 76. Well, not Fallout 76 level, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Damn, really?
Like it's an actual joke.
Damn.
Now that you bring up Fallout 76, ooh,
So
you
funny.
don't make a game known for its amazing stories into a multiplayer-only game. You just don't.
So stupid. There's so many things they did wrong. It's so funny. I'm so glad I'm not them. I'm so glad I'm not them. I'm so glad I'm not them.
Yeah, my
Well, they
my
still
little
have your
brother
money.
pre-ordered that game.
Oh no.
I played it. I played it for a little bit since I wasn't the one. Oh my god. Since I wasn't the one who bought it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I got bored in about 20 minutes.
And this guy sat through like Assassin's Creed, like what was the one with the two brothers, Unity? He sat through that. He had a fun time with that. He
Yeah.
beat Fallout 4, and Fallout 4 was just so fucking buggy, dude. Like it was like it was a cautionary
Well,
tale.
here, let me correct you there. I didn't beat Fallout 4. I got bored of the story after about 6 hours of gameplay, and then just started base building, and that's all I did.
I mean, you can't even like.
So
do
I
that
played
in
Fallout 4.
because everything is just so fucking broken.
Yeah. See, that's why I was excited for Fallout 76, because of the base building aspect of it. But it was so, like, stupid. Like, I think you only had, like, a 200 weight limit that you could store inside of your base. Right? I mean, that's just stupid. As in a game where, like, in order to build, you have to collect stuff, and everything has a specific weight to it, that's the worst thing you can do. Not to mention all the microtransactions. Don't even get me fucking started on that. And the lack of NPCs, bro. It's not a Fallout game.
Straight the fuck out.
The best Fallouts were 1 and 2. And New Vegas.
Yeah.
I did play the Fallout 4, and I got the ending, in the Institution ending. I like the twist that
Yeah.
your son was the leader the whole time.
Right.
It's just
But I
the
mean, like-
usual Fallout binary. Oh, you can't reason with him. You have to side with him or his enemy.
Fallout 76 reminds me of a game that came out in, I want to say 2011 or 2012. It was based off of a TV show that came on Sci-Fi. And I can't remember the name
yeah,
of it.
I know what game you're talking about. Starts with the
Had all
G.
the aliens. Yeah. It had a bunch of aliens and stuff. And like, it was just a very grindy game that tried to be Borderlands, but didn't quite get it right. You know?
My friend
Like-
has that game on his PS3 and he played it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, whenever it first came out, I played it a lot because I really loved the show. And then they ruined the show, and I remember... Let's see, I think they ruined the show not too long after the game finished. Or after I finished the game. But I remember it just being absolute trash.
Have you played the Mass Effect series?
I personally haven't, no. It's just not a series that ever really interested me.
I love choose your own like adventure dialogue type stories
Yeah.
games,
Same.
which is why I'm so freaking excited for CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077. They made The Witcher, so it has to be good.
Right?
I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, there's not really anything that's coming out that's been announced that I'm like super excited for. You know, like Death Stranding looks like it's going to be interesting, but in all honesty, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. I don't really give a shit. I mean, it's gonna be interesting, but because there's so little information that's been released, I have nothing to get hyped about. You know? So I mean,
Daryl.
like,
Motherfucking Daryl.
yeah, Daryl. That's the only part that I was like, oh hey, that'd be cool. Get to play as good old Daryl from The Walking Dead. I love him as an actor personally. Even if his only role is like Daryl. I don't know. I'm interested to see how it goes.
I really want to see what happens when Kojima isn't under
I am not ready to
Konami's
Yeah.
oppressive umbrella and he's allowed to spread his wings and fly.
God, that was my first death.
Are you a fan of the
Yeah.
Metal Gear series?
I personally am not. No, I haven't ever really played any of the Metal Gear series. And in all honesty, it's not one of those games that really interest me. I like multiplayer games. I like games that I can co-op in. And that may just be because I grew up on Halo, but like, I don't know. Games like Metal Gear don't really interest me.
I think Metal Gear is a great time capsule of the time period, and I think it's just a fantastic single player game on its own with a great story and for its time revolutionary game mechanics. It was unique.
Yeah, you know, I know that like it's definitely is a revolutionary game from what I've heard. You know, I haven't really played it. I haven't really gotten into it. And I don't have much experience with it. But from what I've heard, it's a damn. The old ones were really fucking good. The new ones not so much. But
Just
you know. I think what was it? Metal Gear 5 was the last like decent Metal Gear game.
No. Judge 5 was like the one that really divided people. Wasn't that good. 4 was also divided to some degree, but I think most people liked it because it was another send off.
Okay, I got you.
I still recommend that both you and Six play Rising Revengeance just because of the villain. He's great. One of his lines was released in like 2013 or something, and one of the villain's lines of the game is "Make America Great Again."
Legit. No, I know. We have the game. Well, I have the game. I deleted it recently because I kind of got bored, but yeah.
It doesn't matter
Yeah,
how
Six
far I
plays-
get of a game. I will do my best to beat that thing. This is what happened with Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't really play many games. I have a very small circle of games that I play, and like I'd like to branch out more. It's just I don't. You know, I play mostly Overwatch now with Six. I play Halo Reach. Play Modern Warfare 2 every now and then. And that's and Rainbow Six Siege. I was big into Rainbow for a really long time, but Six got me into Overwatch again, and I haven't been able to put it down since. I don't know. Have you played Rainbow Six Siege yet?
Who, me? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been on the outside looking at Rainbow Six games, but I never purchased one myself.
Well, I mean, Rainbow Six Siege is definitely one of the best Tom Clancy games in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, the old like Splinter Cell stuff, those games were great, but you know, Siege really does something that a lot of games don't do. You know, it follows the same algorithm of Overwatch, as in like certain characters have certain abilities and stuff, but it also is a first-person shooter. It's very tactics-based, you know, in the sense of like certain combos with certain characters, defending in certain positions. It just works.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you have a group of people that you work off well with, then, I mean, it's a guaranteed win, you know, and all the characters are like super original in my opinion, as far as like their abilities. The fact that there's, you know, soft walls that you can shoot through, you can you know, sound whore people, you can listen to their footsteps. There's different footsteps for like walking, standing, for running at full speed, you know. There's sound even whenever you aim down sights, you know. There's the leaning mechanic that a lot of the Tom Clancy games have always done. It's just a really interesting game all around, and in my opinion, one of the best shooters we've seen in a while.
That is wrong.
I know, right? But I mean, I stand behind it completely.
It is one
you
of
know?
the best.
What about?
I mean, I personally have never really liked Battlefield, just because to me it's I don't want to say like Call of Duty,
It's not.
but I mean, you know, it's gigantic maps, you know, like 100 versus 100 people,
Yep.
players, and it's very fast paced.
Yep. Well,
And it's a very just always in the action. And you know, some people like that, but I personally, I want to be able to outplay people. You know, I want to be able to be tactical. And I feel like in a game like Battlefield, you can't really be tactical. You know, it's not a game built for tactics. Don't get me wrong, you can be. You 100% can be. You know, flanking the enemy, big group pushes, things like that. But in a lobby that big, it's kind of hard to do that unless you're playing with people.
I just love the destruction. I love getting in a
Oh, yeah,
flank
no.
or a team and just blowing shit up.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's definitely the big appeal in Battlefield is the fact that you can destroy entire buildings. You can create cover just by blowing shit up, you know. And there's a lot that you can do in that game that you can't really do in any other game. You know, it's definitely in its own category. I'll give it that. But I feel like Siege, you know, it's what is it? I think 5-player teams. Every operator contributes to the team in one way or another. Your abilities are direct counters to other people's abilities. For the most part, it's relatively balanced. And there's a lot of variables that go into the gameplay. Sights, you know, you like a red dot versus a hollow sight can be the difference between whether or not you get the kill. The way you reinforce a room can completely break down the entire enemy team's plan. I mean, there's just a lot that goes into it that you have to account for, and it's really all about tactics, and I just love that.
I
You know-
I'm definitely have to check out Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, I mean, like, for example, I main 2 characters, one on defense and one on attack. On defense, I play a character called Alibi, and her entire ability is that she throws down holograms. She gets 3 holograms that she can put down, and if somebody shoots, if like the enemy team shoots the hologram, it'll ping them. So it'll show you like a general
Oh my gosh.
location.
That is the exact same ability as Mirage. That's weird.
Right. On top of that, you know, you can go and stand on top of the holograms, right? They've got like a special little base that they sit on. You can stand on top of them, and like in Pro League is really mostly where it works, or in Ranked when people actually know what they're doing. If you aim down sights while you're standing on that base, you look like the hologram. So people will just walk right past you, and then you can turn around and one-tap them. You know? Stuff like
is
that.
really dumb. I would think a smart person would go, maybe I should like melee just in case.
Well, see, then it pings you. So say if you're an attacker, you breach from the outside. You work your way in through the building. In pro leagues and stuff, I'm just gonna talk like we're playing, like it's a pro league game. You generally try and control floors. There's usually 3 to 4 floors on a map. So you may start from the top and work your way down. You may start from the bottom and work your way up. So if you're playing
Start from the
Alibi,
bottom
let's
now,
say...
yeah.
Exactly. So if you're playing Alibi, let's say you put a hologram in the basement behind cover. Somebody's going to walk by and they're going to see the base of the Alibi and they're going to go, oh, well, that's not a real person, that's a hologram, so they're going to walk past it. Because if they meleeed it, they'd get pinged, and then the defending team would know where you are. And if you're playing with really good people, they can just one-tap you through a wall or through the floor. Yeah, so like it's very risky to do stuff like that. Of course, if you're playing like a casual match with a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they're doing, they're just going to shoot at everything they see. So it's harder to pull that off. But they get pinged, and if you're roaming, you know, you're not holding the objective, then you can sneak up behind them and knife them and kill them. You know, there's droning. You know, you drone a location, you can scan enemies so you can find out who they are. Figure out a general idea of where they're located. There's, I think, they're going for 100 operators in the game, and right now I think they've got maybe 30 defenders and 30 attackers. So if they're going for a 50-50, we've still got 20 more operators. This is a game that came out in 2015. It's 4 years in the making. And they're still adding stuff to the game. New maps, new operators, they're constantly balancing stuff. It's a good game, man. It really is. The 2 new operators they just added, one's name is Nock. She's an attacker who can hide from enemy cameras. And then she also moves silently whenever you activate her ability. There's, who else is there? The new defender, his name is Warden. He's kind of like a James Bond-esque character. His ability is he's immune to flashbangs and he can see through smokes. You know, there's stuff like that. There's characters with special like breaching charges that can break through reinforced walls. So it's just there's so much that goes into the game, man. I mean, I really recommend like taking a week and just diving into the game head first. Because there's so many different ways to play, there's so many different things to do. Yeah, I really recommend it. It doesn't get
that's
much
the
better than
problem.
that, in my
I can use
opinion.
another time killer game. But
Yeah, and I mean,
you emphasize the fact that it's getting updates, but
Mhm.
and that reminded me of the fact that there's a rumor that an Overwatch 2 is being made.
Yep.
ooh, an Overwatch 2?
What I think it
Rumors,
actually
supposedly.
is just a really big expansion to Overwatch. And we don't know if this rumor is even true. We'll definitely see like tomorrow when E3 starts. But I'm pretty sure because like Overwatch 2 has that like it's blatantly obvious that like the original Overwatch is meant to is meant to be like a game that lasts for years, you know. Like it's not going to be a need for Overwatch 2. It's basically like a WoW type of game. Well, because it was made by Blizzard, and that's what they specialize in, like making games that can last for years on its own without even making a sequel.
That's not possible with Overwatch though, because the consoles is gonna be outdated eventually.
Who knows if that's going to be this year or not? But and then like they could just remaster it, port it to like the newest consoles. So that's not even like a big deal.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I hope the PS5 is getting some new technology, and Blizzard has to step up their game.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I think that's going to be an issue with like Rainbow Six Siege too. I mean, they're just over halfway to their new operators, and they generally release 2 new operators a year. So I mean, you know, there's talk of a Rainbow Six Siege too, and I think they're going to run into the same issue of like consoles are eventually going to update, and games are not going to be the same anymore. You
Yep.
know, I mean,
Just take
Yeah,
the
I don't
bullet,
know.
make a sequel.
right. I mean, that's all you can do. You know, if they make a sequel, I wonder if they're going to keep the same characters or if they're just going to start from scratch.
For Overwatch or Rainbow Six?
Well, I mean, both, but I guess topic of discussion right now is Overwatch. So, yeah, I mean, what are they going to do for that?
That's a good question.
Not only that, but what could they do to add to the formula of Overwatch already? It just doesn't make sense, especially since
New
it seems
maps.
like, given the last trailer from Archives, it seems like they're going to add new characters. So what they're going to do, like update 2 different games at the same time continuously? No, it's just an update. It's just an update.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess when you put it logically like that, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Because they can't just up and drop Overwatch. They just can't. Like, this game has like too big of an audience, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, to start from scratch, like, it might be helpful because I don't know. I'm sure they have some balancing issues right now. I mean, they definitely have some balancing issues right now.
There's definitely been a lot of YouTubers complaining.
Yeah. But I mean, like, what are they gonna do that's different? You know, just release more or more characters that you can play as. I mean, what's the point in that?
Yeah.
You
More
know,
fun for me.
I'm,
I mean-
I speculate is that they're just gonna add like a whole new roster, or at least like 6 to 8 characters. Through the new patch, new update, it's gonna be an entire squad that works with each other. It could possibly be an entirely new meta, based on whether or not you play them all together. You know.
Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe they can finally finish the story.
Yeah, Overwatch's story is honestly kind of eh. I'm not really all that invested in the story.
I'm digging it. I like the whole Doomfist aspect of it. That he, as a child, was involved in like a civil conflict, and he got his body mangled, and he got revived due to technology. He's like, hey, this is pretty cool. Maybe I can start a civil war so everyone can become more stronger than they were, just like me.
Bullshit.
So I really resonate with that reasoning. Even though, yeah, he's another one. I think Doomfist is the most fun DPS. It's just too bad that compared to the other DPS, he sucks.
There's nothing that makes you feel better than punching someone in the fucking face.
Oh yeah.
And killing them immediately. The impact, dear lord.
Doomfist,
Yeah,
when
he's
he first
broken as
came
fuck
out,
in a good
was
character's hand.
broken.
Good player's hand. Oh yeah. I mean, he's still broken if somebody's good with him. You know, I mean, the big issue with Doomfist is you have to be able to get in and out with him, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
if somebody's got that down, the enemy team's screwed, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's just all there is to it.
Yeah, if you don't have a Brigitte on your team or someone to counter that punch,
Yeah, we don't have a problem with that.
it's gonna be annoying. As someone who's been on the receiving end of many good fistings, it's a lot harder to catch Doomfist than you think, because when he's floating in that air and doing that thing, it's hard to aim.
Yeah, it really is. It's like his hitboxes change. In fact, I think it might actually be changing when he does that.
Yeah, usually I can get him to like low enough, but it's always just a sliver.
Yeah, that's the thing. He always just has just enough left to like ruin your entire week.
Yeah, you know, I mean, for the most part, Overwatch is surprisingly balanced, honestly. I mean, there's a couple characters that I have issue with. Like, I feel like Moira's range needs to be nerfed. I feel like
Everything with May.
Widowmaker doesn't need to
Everything
be
with
able
Bastion.
to fucking one-shot everybody. Bastion needs to have an insane cooldown on his turret time. And I feel like he
Honestly-
should only be able to stay in a turret for like X amount of time, or his
I
gun
re-
should overheat.
A remastering that I thought, or like a reinventing of his character, is he doesn't do anywhere near as much damage. He does like 5 damage per shot, and he still shoots really fast, but he just doesn't have to reload.
Yeah, that would work. See, I feel like if they just put like a cool like a longer cooldown time on his turret, so that way he can't just switch in and out the way they do, or even if it was just like an overheat on his gun. Like, you remember how the Warthogs in Halo, they would
Yeah.
overheat? Something like that, dude. Even if it was only for like 2 seconds. Just a 2-second window would be perfect. You know, that's all you really need.
I don't know, man. The fact that Bastion can heal himself at all is just a giant middle finger, man. Like, honestly, like...
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that people heal him so much, like, the whole pirate ship comp that people have with Bastion completely ruins the game for anyone who's playing against it. Like, it's just so you can't get to him. It's such bullshit unless you have a Sombra player or another Bastion. The only real counter to him is like Hanzo, and that's if you can get like through the shields. Sombra, because she can like get close, but I mean, even if you're able to hack, I mean, then again, like even if you're able to get close enough to like do anything, like there's still like two giant tanks that are gonna be ready to fuck your shit up immediately. Then like the Bastion's being healed so much, and it can heal himself, then it's gonna make it like basically you have to like unload like 1,000 damage just to kill the fucker, just once.
Yeah.
And then he respawns, and you have to deal with it again. Like the entire like if you have a Bastion on the field, you all like the entire team has to relocate their assets just to take on that one person, and that's just insane.
Yeah, perhaps Bastion was a relic, a good idea they had, and they just had to like work with them.
They should just get rid of him.
Yeah.
Hashtag remove Bastion. He's too
Nah,
broken.
that's a quitter move.
No, he's just a shitty character. Like, what does he even add to the story overall? What does he do? Like, he's not even good.
He is proof that robots can change. Omnics
Bastion
can
should
be
have been
good.
aborted.
Hashtag abort Bastion.
What is your experience with the Dark Souls series? Like Thor?
Ooh.
Ooh, okay, so wait, what was the question again? I heard Dark Souls.
Experience with the Dark Souls series.
I love Dark Souls. I'm a god at Dark Souls 3. 1v1 me. I'll kick your ass
No,
every
thank
time. 6, let's see, 6 got me into Dark Souls. Me and him played through
Such
Dark
a
Souls
legendary
1.
playthrough.
Oh yeah, we played through Dark Souls 1. I hated it.
What?
Then I got no. Just hear me out. I hated it the first time, right? Because I just couldn't get the game down. I didn't know how to play. And then I oh yeah, no. I mean, don't get okay. Just trust me. Hear me out. I hated it at first. Played through it with 6 once I was able to do co-op, and I liked it a lot more. And then he taught me how to play, and I really liked it. But I stopped playing it for a while just because, in all honesty, at the time I just didn't feel like it was a game I could play. Then I played Dark Souls 3, which is honestly infinitely easier than the original Dark Souls, and that's when I fell in love with the Soulsborne series. And then from then on, I've been a fan. I became a god at Dark Souls 3, taught 6 how to play, then 6 became the god, and I became the scrub, and then we switched roles again, and now me and 6 are on even terms. Ended up playing back through Dark Souls 1 with 6, and I mean, yeah, ever since then I've fucking loved the series. Yeah, I mean, that's my go-to when I'm bored. I think right now... Oh yeah, I think right now on my main profile, I'm a level 300 in like New Game +5, and the only reason I'm still a level 300 is because I got tired of leveling, because I couldn't PvP. Pretty much past that point. I mean, I have a hard enough time finding good PvP opponents. So, as of right now, I just kind of dick on kids in PvP and help randoms fight the boss. Or fight bosses. And that's really all I do in Dark Souls. I'm just the guy that gives, 5,000 souls to a random new player, and
Not care.
that's it. Yeah, I mean, on average, like, if I'm playing PvP or something, I'm usually just dicking around, and, I'll die and I'll lose, 2-3 million souls and not give a fuck.
That's nice. That's really nice of you.
Yeah,
But
I know, right?
I noticed some omissions from your story. First, Demon Souls.
Oh,
He
I
doesn't
never...
have-
I haven't played any of the other Souls games. I've played Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3. Wasn't a fan of Dark Souls 2 whatsoever.
That really puts you at odds with 6 then.
Let's see. I played Sekiro. I like it, but it's a hard ass game. It's the hardest Dark Souls I've ever played.
No
Or
doubt.
the darkest, yeah, the hardest Souls or FromSoft game I've ever played. I think right now I just beat the Blazing Bull,
I'm not ready to
and
hang it up.
that's where I'm at. I've been stuck on that for since the game came out. So
Just
I
we
haven't
haven't
even
gone
killed
back
Lady
to touch it a
Butterfly.
lot.
Yeah, I mean it's such a hard game. Like I'm just not motivated to play it. Like, I mean it's true. Like, you know, in Dark Souls, like I wanted to beat the bad guys and shit, and like, because the fights were just epic, but I don't know, the fights just aren't the same to me.
Only in Sekiro do you fight a giant monkey.
That is true. I mean, I've done a ton of research into the game, into like how to beat certain bosses and all this stuff, but like I just can't. I mean, I just barely beat the Blazing Bull last time I played.
Honestly, I'm controversial opinion, but I just think the original Dark Souls trilogy were just funner in terms of environment,
Yeah.
in terms of characters, in terms of progression. Progression is a lot better in Dark Souls because not only do you get different weapons, different plates of armor, and more of an understanding of the world at large with a greater understanding of the weapons as well, but like everything isn't cheap like it is in Sekiro, because let's be real here, if you really want to, you can just mash RB and get like a free kill and then get some health back from it. It's really not that challenging. You can cheese it if you really want to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I personally am really not a fan of the fact that like I can lose NPCs if I'm not careful.
Yeah.
You know, like I really hate that. You're gonna punish like
You
my
kinda have to
gameplay
blame the
experience
audience
for
for
not
that.
knowing how to play.
Because the audience
Oh, yeah,
was all
that's
like,
one-
oh, we need to make it harder like it is in Demon Souls, where like
Yeah.
everything was a chore.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I really hate that part of the game. Like, the fact that I can lose the merchants, or the fact that I can lose people who give me abilities. You know, like, you're gonna hinder my entire game because I've died, 10 times. That's a fucking awful way to go about a game.
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons
You
why
know?
he disliked Dark Souls 2, because he didn't like his health being reduced every single time he died.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my biggest complaint with Dark Souls 2. You know, like, the enemies were badass. It was like, the weapons were cool. Like, the world was interesting. But every time I died, like, it would just negatively affect my game. And I hated that. I cannot stand it whenever I get punished for trying to learn how to play the game.
Also, for the
As a person
record,
who knows
I
their
love Dark
limits-
Souls 2. What you say?
You love Dark Souls 2?
Yeah, I love Dark Souls 2. Like, that's what me and him do. I beat the game already. I'm going through it on New Game Plus. Like, I love that game. I mean, I would never go... I don't like it as much as the other Dark Souls games. It's like my least favorite, but I still do like it. It's a Dark Souls game. I mean, come on.
As a person who knows their limits, it's just fun to me to see the people suffer from playing through Sekiro.
Honestly, it's not even... Like, I would actually disagree. I would contest the notion that Sekiro is even really hard. It's just me and Thor has been trained to play in a certain way by the other Dark Souls games that we're accustomed
It
to.
is definite. Sekiro is definitely harder by most accounts. Because it's all about parrying, and that is just a more aggressive, risky style that most people do not use.
Yeah, I mean, I've, for the most part, gotten the combat down to a certain point, but like, I mean, I can run through any area and take out any, just regular enemy, no problem. That shit isn't hard. That's not what's challenging about the game. It's the fact that, like, I don't really know how to put it. Like, for example, Lady Butterfly, right? Her entire fight is based around, using the shurikens, right? She jumps up on a wire, you hit her with the shuriken, she'll fall down. There's attacks that you can't block. There's a certain way you have to move for each enemy. I have no real defense, you know? I mean, the poise meter is so low. My health is way too low. Like, there's so much that goes into it. It's simple, but at the same time, it is the hardest game I've played. And the combat can be fluid. It's one of the, I don't want to say the more fluid games, but let me put it to you this way. It's like playing a Dex build
Yeah.
in any Dark Souls game with using like only the Uchigatana. I mean, that's literally what it is for me. And I hate Dex builds. I hate them. You know, I feel like I'm a glass cannon, but I don't do glass cannon damage.
I think fortunate and unfortunate thing about From Software games is that they obviously don't appeal to most people. It caters to a niche.
Right.
I think you guys just found your limits.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, here's another thing, right?
With every death,
In Dark Souls,
honor.
I can fight an enemy 500 times and still be interested in the enemy on the 500th time, you know? And whenever I finally beat them, I feel accomplished because I was able to get their movements down. I was able to learn the patterns, and I had fun fighting them. You know, I could always go in using a different weapon, using a shield, using a different build. I could do 1,000 different things and eventually find what worked for me to kill that enemy. In Sekiro, the only thing that changes are the arm attachments, and I have very few selections. You know, like, I mean, for example, the Blazing Bull. The only thing that really did like help me out with that fight was the firecrackers. Anything else was completely useless. You know, there's like, I have one weapon, I have, you know, 3 or 4 different attacks that I can do, and I can parry. But if I parry too much, my poise is broken, and I'm open to a ton of attacks. And that's it. You know, like, that's really my only option. Past that, there's nothing I can do. It's like, it's the definition of get good. But the issue is, like, the biggest part of it that hurts the game, in my opinion, is I can't spend 3 hours dying over and over again trying to figure out how the enemy works. Because after a certain point, I've lost all my XP, I've lost all my money, all of my NPCs are infected with dragon rot, and I have to worry about that. And I hate that. I hate that. You know, in Dark Souls, you could lose souls, and you could get them back by running through an area. That's fine. But unless you get unseen aid in Sekiro, it's just gone. For good. Like, you have no chance of redemption with that. You know?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I mean, that really is it just punishes you too much. I think out of everything, that's my biggest complaint. You get punished way too much for dying.
The Dark Souls series is like a strict teacher. Sekiro is like fundamentalist mom who
Right.
won't let you do anything fun.
Right. I mean, yeah, have you played Dark Souls 3?
I've only played Dark Souls 1. But I did not
Well-
because I am a wuss.
Do you have Xbox, or do you only have a PS4?
I had only original Xbox 360.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you should definitely pick up an Xbox One if you can. And I'd
He
love
won't.
for, like, me and Six to take you through
Yeah, I'm waiting for
through
the
Dark
Xbox
Souls 3.
2.
Okay, I got you. I mean, have they announced that yet?
It's coming. Don't worry.
Okay, I'm just saying though, you know, you could probably pick up an Xbox One for cheap.
Not that
You know, on
cheap.
eBay or something. Shoot. I'll go halvesies with you. We need more people to play with.
It'll make streaming better.
Be careful, I
Darius.
might take that offer.
Hey, dude, look, I got a big enough paycheck for it. I'm not trying to flex or anything, but I'll do it. Hell, if Six is willing to throw in, and the three of us, that's like $100 from each of us. That's chump change. You know,
The
I'm just
Xbox
saying.
One S, I mean, it's like $200 now. We don't even need to pour in that much.
There you go, man. Look, I'm just saying. And like, you know, you pick up Dark Souls 3. I mean, we can spend 2 months in Dark Souls 3 easy and have a good ass time. I need a reason to get back into Dark Souls 3. Because,
Yeah.
you know, the other guy we play with, Chris, he won't fucking play it. He's too much of a pussy. I mean, trust me, it's fun once you get into it. You have to get
Yeah.
through the first part on your own, but we'll walk you through that.
Don't
And then
worry.
after that, we
We'll
can
make it
summon. You
fun.
can summon us into every area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give you, you know, like weapons. We'll show you all the little secrets. We'll let you figure out the lore on your own. We'll talk through stuff. Like,
Oh, don't
honestly-
worry, I already went through all of Vati's
No, you don't understand. Playing it with
Fungo.
someone is a completely different experience.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like playing like a Dark Souls with Thor was like probably one of the greatest gaming memories I've
Oh,
ever
yeah.
had.
yeah, that was like one of the peaks of our friendship. Was when
Yep.
we played Dark Souls 3 together. Because, like, okay, the cool part about, you know, Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3 especially, whenever you know, get summoned into somebody else's world, enemies get harder, you get more souls, you know, and you can really work with each other. Like, so whenever me and Six played, I played mostly a strength build. I wore Champion Gundir's armor. I had the Pyromancer's headpiece, which was just like cloth wrapped around my head. I used a giant fuck-off sword that caught on fire, and an even bigger shield. Okay? And Six, I don't know what you were using. He was doing whatever the fuck. He was
I
constantly
was doing
switching out.
everything.
Yeah, I don't know what you were playing at that time, Six, but our characters complemented each other very well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, me and him were able to play off of each other's strengths and weaknesses. Whatever he didn't excel at, I did. Whatever I excelled at, he was able to, you know, buff and make it better. Whatever he did poorly, I was able to make up for. You know, it was just like we worked off of each other in a way that you can't really get in any other game, in all honesty. I mean, we
Yeah.
built each other characters, or we built our characters around each other.
Exactly.
And
You've made
I mean,
me
that
an
was,
offer I can't refuse. Okay.
I know,
I'll
right?
see about it when I get back.
Yes.
To,
Wow.
America.
Good
I mean, it
job,
was,
Thor.
yeah.
I didn't think
Hey,
I'd
look,
actually
man.
get him to actually play. Like this is amazing. Like legit, you will never regret it. It's legit. It's like a moment that you're gonna remember forever. Like just playing this game
Mm-hmm.
with us.
It's the only way I can get through a Dark Souls game anyway. With
And,
by
like-
hand holding.
And dude, the fights in the game are so badass. Like, for example, Aldrich, giant like goop monster, right? The music plays, there's shit raining down from the sky. He's shooting shit at you. Like, dude, it's amazing. The soundtrack to the game makes you feel like a god. I
That's
mean,
the
you
one problem I had with Sekiro. It does not feel as epic. The
Exactly.
the bosses.
right.
The bosses just seem like
Random. They look like something that like
Non-bosses.
Hideki Miyazaki just like Google searched and put into his game.
Yeah. See, okay, like I'm. You said you read up on the lore and stuff, right?
yes.
Okay.
What
So
little
you know
bit?
who Yorm. You know who Yorm the Giant is, right?
Yorm the Giant. Yes. He was the
Okay.
Lord of Fire who did something.
Right. Well, you have to fight him, and when they say giant, he's literally. I don't know how fucking tall, but he's probably 100 times your size. Uses a gigantic cleaver, okay? His backstory, the reason he uses a cleaver, he used to be on the front lines of like the wars, and eventually he lost everyone he loved, so he threw away his shield and just goes gung ho with his axe, and his axe is like bigger than you. And the whole fight, he's chasing you, he's stomping on the ground, his foot's like 10 times bigger than you, he's swinging the cleaver around, there's fire going everywhere. Like, dude, it's the craziest thing.
Not only that, but
what's
like
another really-
the Artorias boss fight, like the boss fight versus Gwen, the Nameless King. That's all you have. The Nameless King. That's all you have to say.
Dude, Nameless King? Okay, let me put it to you this way. Imagine this. You're standing on a cloud. A gigantic man wielding a spear that shoots lightning, riding a dragon, comes at you at full force. Okay? You have to kill his dragon. You know what happens after you kill his dragon?
He gets a little angry.
He absorbs it and goes full-blown, fuck you, I'm killing you and everything you've ever loved. And you have to fight that. Okay? The music, right? Like, you know the Halo theme song?
Oh.
Yeah, imagine that times 10 in Heavenly. That shit's blaring in your ear while you're fighting this man full force with everything you've got.
I legit listened to the OST to that boss fight like casually.
Dude, you like, the game is beautiful. The game is gorgeous, okay? The first area you're in is a gigantic castle, okay? There's trees made out of dead bodies. Okay, there's dragons, there's... Oh my god, there's just so much that goes into the game. Like,
They're legit the best boss fights in all the games. That and like again another good one, Ornstein and Smo, legendary.
oh yeah, that's Dark Souls 1. Ornstein and Smo, best boss fight ever.
Yeah, literally, it's like one of the hardest in all of gaming. Like it's world renowned for how difficult it is. That and it's just a super fun boss fight. Like super fun.
yeah.
The design, the lore, the abilities that you have to test just to beat them, it's really a sight to behold to be able to like.
What lore?
Like-
Were they lovers in the past, and they're like
No.
guarding something?
Ornstein and Smo are two of the last Knights of Gwyn who stand to guard a forgotten Anor Londo that they believe is still inhabited by the gods. What they're actually protecting is a fallen god who hides himself from even his most loyal followers.
Yeah. One of them is essentially a gigantic sumo wrestler, and the other is a pretty average. Well, I mean, they're both giants, by the way. I mean, they're bigger than you. And the other is a spear-wielding, I guess, dragon rider.
Well, he's the Dragon Slayer. He's literally wearing the Dragon Slayer armor, and he was trained by the Nameless King.
Right. So Smo is this gigantic fat dude who wields a gigantic hammer. They both wear gold armor. And I don't want to tell you what happens after you kill one of them because it's the most badass thing ever. But just know, shit hits the fan real quick.
That you're going like
I'm sure that's the motto of Dark Souls.
I
Right.
suggest killing Ornstein first. Kill that bastard first, because once he gets angry, he gets mad. That dude is easily the harder of the two. That he's all up in. This dude is like a mosquito. He does not get out of your fucking face. He is always on your ass. Like, hey, what's going on,
And-
buddy? Hey, just dashing all across the map. Hey, where you going? Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. It's like a kid on ADHD with the spear. Like Ornstein, stop, please.
Just trust me. If you play Dark Souls 3 first, and then play Dark Souls 2, you'll probably have a better experience. If you're like me, because the original Dark Souls was hard for me to get into, but Dark Souls 3 is a little bit easier. It's definitely the easiest of the Dark Souls games as far as combat goes and stuff. So, like, that's what did it for me. I stopped playing Dark Souls 1 because I just couldn't get into it. Played Dark Souls 3, got really into it, finished it, and then I was like, fuck, I have to go back to Dark Souls 1 and finish it. Now that I know how to play, now that I understand how a Dark Souls game works, it doesn't get better. It really doesn't. I mean,
Exactly.
those are the two best games I've ever played. Ever.
I see where you're coming from, and I have to counter or suggest that I think the best entry point to the Soulsborne Kiro series is Bloodborne, because it forces you not to use a shield.
Yeah, I haven't played Bloodborne, so I don't really have much experience with that, but I've heard it's a really good game. I mean, I know the majority of the Souls fans really love Bloodborne.
It's pretty neat. I played up to past the first boss, and then my PS4 started crapping out, so I lost all my progress, and I was like, oh, I have to do all that again. Oh no.
That's rough.
I do plan to get back to it and finally finish that thing.
Also,
Yeah,
I just
you,
want you guys to know, we can continue if you guys like, but Thor, I don't know if you have something you have to do in the morning because it's pretty late.
I'm getting up at like 10:30. It's no big deal. I'm not doing anything big.
Actually, one thing I wanted to do is actually wanted to try to see if we can watch some One Piece or some shows together tonight before you have to get off.
All right, yeah, I can probably. Let's see, what time is it now? It's 2 in the morning. Probably need to sleep by 3. So after this match, if you want to watch 1 or 2 episodes, we can probably do that.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna stop the
I
stream
wish I
because
brought
this is going to already be a bitch to edit.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
you know,
we've been
by
streaming for how long now?
Close to 4 hours. Like in 10 minutes, it'll be
God
4
damn.
hours.
Oh, you got some nice
Yeah.
little content. You're welcome.
Yeah. It's our first podcast. I like it. It was a little just like we weren't as focused, but I kind of like that. I like the chaos, and plus it was our first podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
And I mean, you could cut this up into like 6 or 7 videos, you know?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, you could just give each video its own or make each topic its own video.
Yeah, I'm
So.
probably gonna do that.
But yeah, man, for real, if you like are legit serious about getting into the Souls series, I will never say no to helping somebody get into it.
I have a little bit of time before I have to step to the real world and get a real job, so now is the time.
All right, perfect. I mean, yeah. Shit, let's see if we can find a cheap Xbox and we'll all pitch in for it or something. If Six is down, if not, I'll go halvesies or something with you.
I'll be on the lookout.
All right, fuck yeah.
I'm sure you probably told you, but I am in Japan right now, so if there's anything you want here that can only be found here, let me know.
He's not as much of a weeb
shit.
yet.
Yeah, I haven't gone full weeb like Six has.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One day, you will be one of us.
Yeah, he will.
One day.
I'm slowly making him come to the dark side. He's starting to see, like, he's joining our world. He will be one of us. He will.
One of us. One of us. Oh, I kept you alive.
Yeah.
You already in the stream, Six?
Oh yeah. Bye.